Welcome into the Cam Strick Podcast, episode number 179, Cam. Presented by Hair Club for men and women and everybody. I've been telling my neighbors about Hair Club, actually. There's a couple of neighbors down the street, just kind of letting them know what's available out there because there are many options.
Well, that is a complete insult if you're going and talking to your neighbors and you look at them and say, hey, I have a sponsor, Hair Club. And I think Hair Club would agree with that. Like, you don't want to, push the envelope there. But if they ask you about it, tell them for sure. But if you just bring it up, you might get smacked in the face by Will Smith.
Oh, my God. Can I ask you this? And first off, that's not true. The neighbors, they appreciate the advice. I've got very smart neighbors. They're impacting the world more than you would ever know.
Good.
And in fact, in the backyard, it's garden season. See, the garden's starting to come around. In fact, I thought about this, Cam, real quick. I'm not going to get too much into it, even though people probably want to hear about it. But I'm starting a garden myself. So I'm going to have
That's all you do is eat grass.
Well, I'm going to have lots of stuff for you here this when it's harvest season. You'll be getting lots of stuff, man.
I chirp you for a lot of things, but if you're going to have a garden, I want a garden too. I just think the deer are going to fuck it up so bad. Dude, we have so much shit out here. I don't know if you, I don't know. We'll do it on the deck, maybe some tomatoes. I love jalapeno peppers, little things like that. But man, if you got a bunch of veggies, dude, I take fresh veggies, cut them up, put a little oil on them, season them up, put them right in the oven, and Kate and I'll just pick on it. I'll eat just cut up an onion, cucumber, all that, and just throw it in a little thing with salt and shit, put it in that mug, and then take it out 15, 20 minutes, and you just eat veggies. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, you can put it in you can put it in the air fryer. I don't know if you have an air fryer. I do it in the Traeger because now I have the Traeger app. Did I tell you about my new app, my Traeger app?
That's nothing fucking new, dude.
No, it's new. It's new. And so now I can leave my house, monitor it straight from my phone on my Traeger app.
It's not new.
That'll take my grilling to the next level.
But why waste even pellets on fucking veggies? Put that in the oven. Right? Just make something substantial.
Well, I said the air fryer.
Veggies. The air fryer is fine. You said your Traeger, and I'm
you can do either one. You can do either
if I went over to your timeout, if I went over to your house and what's up? You got your Traeger going. What do you got? And you're well, we got veggies for everybody. I'd be go fuck yourself.
Okay. And we'll get into that later because there's a lot of people that are
no one
certainly
cares
aware
of
my YouTube channel, which I'm starting for my grilling season. Lots of things I have going on, Cam. But listen, if Will Smith, let me just say this to the people right now, because Cam knows I can get in a little psycho mode. I can become a little unhinged.
You're pretty braggadocious today. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Will Smith.
If he came up to you on national television at the Oscars and just slapped the shit out of you with no warning whatsoever, what would you do?
Well, look. Hey, here's my point. Jada Pickett Smith is fair fucking game. She is fair game. She's got a thing for their hair that falls out. Okay, it's not hardcore, I don't think. But she's fair fucking game. She's sitting front row. She's doing stupid podcasts talking about banging other dudes in front, cuck holding his fucking ass. And Chris Rock, who's cool as shit, by the way, is no, you're fucking G.I. Jane. And she's and then Will's I'm going to go smack you in the face. So goddamn bizarre. If she was a wife that was a housewife that was out of the attention, away from everybody, had to just take care of the kids, wasn't loud, didn't do, then then you keep that away. But she's been in the game 30 fucking years. She's made a shit ton of money. Chris Rock's going to make fun of your wife, because you are so fucking loud as a couple in such a weird ass way, you deserve every bit of it. And he goes up there I'm going to defend her. Meanwhile, she's probably going to go bang a dude that night. And I don't know. It's very bizarre.
Hold on now. So
they're open about it, Andy.
She's come out publicly. She's been very open. He's open about it too. It's not like they're swingers. Weird. I think swingers is a completely different animal.
Andy,
it's not like they're inviting couples to come over. They're just doing their own thing on the side. But listen, I think when you embarrass a man on national television talking about your wife who's got this hair situation, now in all seriousness, can Hair Club fix that?
I don't know. Maybe.
No, I know the answer to that.
But here's the point. Fix that. And I know I sound a little harsh, but the point is she's fair game.
I don't think so.
Oh, God. Yes, she is, dude. Yes, she is. All those Hollywood. That's what you're in. You're in the fucking you're in the mix. You're it. You're preaching to people. You're a hierarchy. You do this. You're loud. Then you cuckold your husband. No. You're fair fucking game. You're not innocent.
What
and Will Smith, sit down.
here's the deal, though. He's a stand-up comic. Everybody's fair game. Since when does Will Smith have like thin skin that he can't take a joke? Although I know it's personal. You don't know what he's dealing with at home, where like she may be crying at night, can't go to sleep because her hair is falling out. That's got to be really
She's
hard
worth
for a woman.
300. You dude,
doesn't matter how rich you are.
Listen. Okay, we all
doesn't
have
matter how rich you are.
We all have our issues. You are in the spotlight, the limelight. You talk about, you're loud about loud things. You're not trying to hide from anything. You are completely fair game. Do I feel sorry for this? She's fine. Yeah. Actually, no, I don't. I have a bald spot too. Like we all have shit. You are in the limelight. Just like if people made fun of me, fine. Yeah, fucking right. Make fun of me. Now, Kate's not in the limelight. She's not doing shit. But like, even then, you are loud and you are fair game.
If he would have come up to you, slapped you in the face, or anybody, let alone have it be on television, how are you reacting?
Andy, I can't even answer that because it's so unrealistic that I would even be in that situation. It doesn't matter. Now, if somebody came up and smacked me at a bar for no reason, it doesn't, you can't equate, it's hard to do that. But like, I've gotten beer dumped on me, Andy, in front of my wife. I never was in a jam really that much, dude, ever. Mm-hmm. I was always nice to everybody, always was around people. I knew people at the bar, the people, like everybody's fun. A couple times, Richie Incognito, one time in his group, when they wanted to fight me one night, that was a very bizarre situation. I think it was a guy named Justin Fry, and it just kind of happened. I was hanging out with Jacob Bell, who I love.
No, you've told that story.
Yeah, and maybe on the radio, maybe not on here, but and the weird thing was they were really bad at the time, and we were at Harry's, and I was with my buddies, and we're just like talking to girls. That's all you want to do is just talk to girls. Like we didn't care about it, fight, nothing. No, I want to hide, talk to girls, be nice to everybody, get in our car, make it back to Eureka with whatever, and have fun and be happy. But it just was weird one time. Maybe girls were involved. And the guy tried to kind of fight me. And he's like,
well, he's one of the scariest human beings on the planet. Did I ever tell you what the Rams PR guy did?
He kicked my ass, Andy. I'm sorry.
Oh, he would absolutely.
He would beat the fuck out of me.
So listen to what he did to me one time. So the PR guy of the Rams, I was on the radio bashing Incognito because there was a time when he was playing for the Rams, the St. Louis Rams back in the day. And the head coach actually, like you don't see this in football, where the offensive lineman was taken out of the game during the game because he was getting too many penalties. Like he couldn't control his anger. He's flipping out. So they literally yanked his ass out of the game. So I was talking shit about him the next day on the radio. And the Rams PR guy heard it, whatever, wasn't happy. But he was a good buddy of mine, actually. And so he told Incognito. First, he told a couple other Rams players. And he had them come up to me like, full-on prank, being like, dude, I'd watch it, man. Richie's like looking for you. Like he's pissed. He's not happy. Like, why would you do that? Of all the people, Richie Incognito, dude, he's a psychopath. I'm like, you better get control of him. They're like, we can't. Like, he's crazy. So when he comes in here, dude, I would leave. They had him come up to me acting like he wanted to kill me.
He probably did, though.
No, he didn't. And eventually they all started laughing, because
I almost fought this motherfucker.
I'm going to act really scared right now, even though I probably was.
Dude, if he hit you, dude, you could. I mean, you'd get.
Oh, I'd sue him. I'd sue the Rams. I'd sue the NFL.
Probably the best thing for your career. But for me at Harry's to get beat up by it wasn't Richie. He was involved. It was just Justin. Looked just like Richie, like huge. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? He was wanting to fight me, and his teammates, besides Jacob and a couple of guys that I knew, were like, get him. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, get me out of here. He would have kicked my ass. I would have gotten in trouble. We would have got arrested. Furniture would have been everywhere. Girls were crying. Like, what the fuck?
Last thing I'll say about this, I will say Chris Rock, he handled it about as well as he possibly could handle it.
Right, Andy.
He didn't even look disturbed by it.
Well, he was.
Because he kind of rattled he lost his spot on the teleprompter and stuff.
Oh, God. It was really weird.
But he wasn't hurt. He didn't have a mark on his face.
He hit him with the fingers. He didn't get him with the palm.
Oh, really?
Difference.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Oh, you really analyzed it that closely?
Fuck yeah. I got to talk about it for fucking an hour and a half.
Watch out, UFC. Cam Jansen's going to be the next UFC analyst, too.
Oh, no, I'm so far
breaking it down.
I can't even talk about hockey, let alone UFC. Come on. But I know what a punch is and what a slap is, because Nate Diaz will smack you with his fucking palm and fuck you up and get his fingers in your eye And you're like, what the fuck? Then he'll hit you with a straight right or a left hook, jab.
You ever slap somebody like in a fight? You ever slap somebody?
No.
I saw somebody slap somebody the other day, kind of in the back of the helmet. Because listen, I don't understand the whole hockey fighting nowadays, where everybody has a visor on, and punching somebody in the back of the helmet, I can't feel good. So like a lot of times, I see players now, Cam, they're punching with their open hand in the back of the helmet because they don't want to close their fist. Because I mean, how bad does that hurt, man? When you're hitting a helmet full force with a closed fist.
If you're gonna reach down there and you got grip, why don't you just rip that damn thing off in 2 seconds and come back with one? It takes a second to rip it off. So you might as well just rip it off. That should be your first move when you get tied up. Get that goddamn thing off and let's go. I had to do it in juniors 50 times a year, basically.
Well, once the helmets come off, they end the fight right away.
Not necessarily.
But they'll let Patty
Maroon
grabbing on.
If they're like doing what Patty's doing, grabbing on.
Dude, Patty Maroon, they were like literally like
making out
with one another. He and this guy from the Islanders. I forgot who it was.
They're doing their shit though. Patty's got a bad
for
attitude.
sure.
They might win again. I'm just sure. I love him to death.
But
he's just getting scrapped. He settles it down though. Even doing that, like it still like fucking wears you out. And he's still doing it. So it's like because somebody's got to deter.
My point is the referees,
everything.
The linesmen, I should say, they let it go on forever. I was like, dude, like just end this.
Yeah, if they're not trading, get in there. The other day though, Andy. Mikola and who was it? I don't know. He ran somebody. And they're like, let's go. And they both like were about, and Mikola's like, I ready to go. And the linesman's like, oh God, what do I do? And he jumps in like, oh, we have to let him go.
I know.
The game's not like this. It's like I kind of think it was like down by 2. The crowd's going crazy. It's packed out. Let them fucking fight.
It was against the Flyers.
That's what it was. Oh yeah, the shittiest team in the league. You know that there's emotion because you got to fucking beat. They're up by a couple, and the liney's like, oh my God, I have to get in now. What do I? You have to stop. Let them fucking go.
Yeah.
God damn.
Well, I understand if they come in and separate guys, if one player is in a vulnerable spot, he's going to get hurt. But if they're like squaring off with one another, let them fight. Like fighting's still allowed in hockey, right?
Even if it's if they're tied up, like get in there and don't waste time. Get in there so somebody doesn't fall and hit their head on.
That's
the
like
ice.
a player's on a breakaway, Cam, and the referee's like, I'm just going to blow the whistle. Nope. Yeah. To blow the whistle, just end the play. We're not going to score right now. Let's have a face-off.
I don't get that. Like, goddamn packed house. Let people enjoy. They like.
I know.
We're in St. Louis. Like blue collar motherfuckers. They all want to see it.
Cam, you see my eyes, my skin right now? Like, take a look.
My eyes are kind of red right now. I'm looking.
I got a new disco stick. They call it, where you can kind of put it on your eyes. Like,
dude, you look young, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kate and I were watching you the other day. In the wealthy part of Franklin County out here, and you're on the screen. I'm like, God, he looks goddamn young. Like you look good, you do. And Ty looked so fucking cute the other day. God Almighty, he might be a wheel. He doesn't look like you, but he might be a wheel. I'm not gonna lie to you. He knows what to say. I wish one of the cute girls would have interviewed him. By the way,
yeah, I know.
I like the dude because he's a good.
The dude who does everything. He does the national anthem and the in-game entertainment.
Bring in a cutie. Ty might wheel that. Like bring in a cutie. Like that'd be the coolest.
You never know.
I'm just saying.
You never know.
Good for him.
Where do you think he learned that from?
I don't. Fucking Taylor Hall, maybe. He's got like. He's cute kid, man.
He did do his first.
Did he play good in that intermission? By the way, we don't need to get too far.
It's like
three.
He played pretty well. You know what's funny, man, is like because he hears like players are like I'm on the phone, whatever, and people are like complaining about the ice in different spots or whatever. Like the ice sucks here, the ice sucks there. I think Chief even the other day I was having a conversation with somebody because even Craig Berube like made a comment in like a post game news conference about the ice not being very good, or maybe it was after practice because the team was practicing down at the Enterprise versus the practice rink, and he said the ice wasn't very good. So Ty, first thing he says to me when he came out, man, what was it like out there, dude? And he was like, the ice wasn't very good. That's what he said.
Oh, he's already bitching about the ice.
So the ice wasn't very good. Well, because he fell a couple times early on, he got tripped up. But it's a fast game. They play like 2 or 3 minutes, like total. So he had some good back check plays.
I like when
the kids are playing out there.
I like when teams do that, man. It's really cute.
I give the Blues a lot of credit for letting these kids do that, man. Honestly,
Perry's kid scored a couple goals the other day, and then Perry goes out there and fucking rips one bar down. Or no, he goes end to end. But anyway, the Blues though, like I did tweet something out, and I was kind of wasted. It was a Saturday night, and I said soft and fucking slow, and they kind of looked soft and slow compared to Carolina. And you're like, fuck. You're like, God damn. Like, whoa. Like, okay. And then Rod Brindamore afterwards was like, we didn't play that good. I'm like, ooh.
Well, they did
They
in
were
the third
fucking
period.
flying. Yeah,
they were flying the first couple of periods. I don't know what to make out of Carolina, man. I mean, listen, you're watching them the first couple of periods. You're like, damn, this is the best team I've seen all year long. And then you're like, in the third period,
well, the Blues are good too.
You're like, okay, I don't know. They don't look that good. They're on their heels. I don't know. But sometimes when you're down, or you just find a way to find that next gear. And teams that are winning take their foot off the gas. Like, it's human nature.
Yeah, man. I know the Blues do that. But when the Blues are on, they're on. But they're just back and forth. Like, fuck.
You know who's an underrated player? Who's just like a winner? No one ever mentions his name or talks about him. He's been around forever, 1,000 games. I think close to 1,000 games if he hasn't gotten there already. Is Jordan Stahl, man. He's just a big body.
He just doesn't, eh? Yeah.
In the defensive end, he's always there. He's always in great position. He wins battles.
Skates well. Like, he's just his stride is long and he just gets to places and just gets a long stick and he's like, I'll poke that away and you'll put it into an area. Mm-hmm. Not real flashy, but he's in there. He's in the way.
Yeah.
He's good, man. And he's a veteran.
They got good D.
He's handsome.
They've got good D, a bunch of Americans, a bunch of college kids.
Yeah, that's
who are doing their thing on the back end for Carolina too. So
Toropchenko hit a guy. They fucking jump in there, and who was that? Pumped him pretty good.
Kotkaniemi.
It's like, I'll fuck you.
He chased him down from the other side of the rink.
Whatever. And he did it, and they won the game. So he's like, fuck you. You're not doing that. Who are you, big boy? Right. I like that. Like, Brindamore, I don't know. They were flying, man. And then I watched Minnesota the other day. They're flying. Colorado's fucking flying.
Well, I bet you Chief and Otter and some of those guys,
get going.
A young kid like Toropchenko, who runs around and he is crushing guys.
He's big.
He plays big.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like it. Guelph boy. Played in Guelph.
Yeah. He did. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Russian kid came over, played in Guelph.
Daddy died at a young age, by the way, too.
Yeah, played some big games. Played some big games. I think they won an OHL championship or something.
His dad passed away too, young, which I read. Which is really, really sad. So he went through some shit too, man. Like, I don't know. I'm rooting for the kid, man.
His dad was a big boy too, like 6'4", 220, something like that. So, but I bet you Chief and those guys are like, hey, man, they need to help him how to handle himself in a situation like that. Because if you're gonna run around, and even in today's game, Cam, as you know, we see a lot of fights right now. You run around catching guys,
Andy. Somebody will fucking
crushing guys. Somebody's gonna want to come and fight you, And so little Kotkaniemi, man.
And he was throwing
Montreal fans aren't chirping him now.
Hey, and I'll tell you this right now, man. I don't give a fuck who hits you with one. They're not smacking you like fucking Will Smith. Like, even if you catch one from a guy who doesn't know what he's throwing, he's going to catch you. They're all everybody's strong and athletic. They've all done some kind of fight, something. They might catch you. I don't know. You always want to know how to defend yourself, especially those old school cats, dude. They don't give a fuck.
Well, I'll tell you what, listen, man, the Minnesota Wild, who just had a great weekend, they're winning in dramatic fashion. It's almost like a baseball team that gets that energy when they have those walk-off, victories all the time and they're celebrating a home plate. That gives you a level of confidence and excitement and enthusiasm for a hockey team, man. When you're winning in dramatic fashion, coming from behind, tying games up late, winning in overtime.
Yeah.
And listen, I know, Marc-Andre Fleury was in net for the Saturday game, but then Sunday, Cam Talbot, who all of a sudden, you bring in Marc-Andre Fleury, he was an all-star first half of the season. And let's face it, man, Billy Guerin obviously doesn't have confidence in Cam Talbot to get the job done in the playoffs. Otherwise, he doesn't make that move, okay? Let's be honest. He may say that he does. Oh, we've got 2 goaltenders and this and that. But if he truly believed that Talbot could be the guy who had a little bit of a rough stretch, we see a lot of goalies go through that. And now all of a sudden Fleury's there and he's named the NHL's first star of the week. He was 3-0 for the week, had a save percentage at .959 or something like that, and a 1.33 goals against average. Beat good teams, beat Vancouver, beat Colorado, beat Vegas. So, what do you do now if all of a sudden this guy truly starts to turn it around? And what if he's the better goalie between he and Marc-Andre Fleury down the stretch?
Then you have a good problem, Andy. Then you have a good problem.
2 good guys that are playing well. I'm with you.
That's what it is. I mean, they're going, man. I know they got outshot by the Avs the other day, but it just felt like everybody's grooving. Kiprusoff, God, he gets in the right spot and he just one touch, boom, top shelf, and he gets rocked behind the net and he gets up and everybody jumps in. It's just they're going.
Yeah.
And the Avs are going too. Makar's walking the line, what, spinning off of guys, just missing top shelf. Maybe it gets tipped, whatever. Controlling the play. McKinnon sticking up for guys. Dumbo rocks. They're going at it. They're in the motion. And I'm telling you, you know this, Andy, just like you said in baseball, like there's not many teams that aren't fucking bringing it. Even if they creep into the playoffs, if they're not bringing it, they're not like, oh, let's snap it, let's go. No, man, the people are going. You got your groove. You're mentally good as a team. You're fucking like, let's go, baby, just like last time. Let's go, boom, boom, boom. That's the teams that are going to succeed, and the Blues got to get it going. And I know we just revert back to the Blues, and we're not catering to Blues fans, but it's just interface down here.
Well, teams are creeping, dude. I mean, Nashville, like they're a little bit in and out, more so than Minnesota.
I like them too, Andy.
Yeah, I know. But, Colorado, Minnesota's finding ways to win. It looks like they're almost like, they're putting themselves in a great spot to finish in that number 2 hole in the Central Division.
$14 million next year, Andy.
And I know. But I mean, like having home ice advantage in that first round, and then who knows, man? Maybe they'll set themselves up to play Colorado in the second round of the playoffs. I mean, you hope St. Louis can find a way to kind of get that swagger back.
Yeah.
They're missing it right now, Teams got to, or people, analysts, whatever, everyone's got to stop comparing them to 2019 because the reality is there's not that many guys left on this team that were on the cup-winning team back in 2019. Like, it's a different team. They don't play the same.
And, in St. Louis, too, like, in a deeper way, without being, and Andy and I are fans, but we're more like business. Like, we know everybody. We know restaurants downtown. We know, COVID hit. Not that they're struggling in any way, but they need to, like, bring attention, like the Cardinals need to bring attention down in St. Louis. Like, there's, like, a deeper meaning to our wanting the Blues to be successful. It helps out a lot of things. Our buddies that own stuff, St. Louis needs it, Andy. Like, they need the Blues to go to, and not to mention the organization, they spin up to the cap every single year. Everything's top notch. So going to the second round is meaningful. Getting that extra money.
It's meaningful. Big time.
Right.
No, ask an NHL owner what it means to get to the second round.
Saying, I know.
That's the pressure for the Blues. It's the pressure for Craig Berube too, because they haven't gotten out of the first round the last couple of years. You got to get out of the first round. You can't put together that first half of the season, then all of a sudden see it crumble late, man. That's the worst thing possible you can see happen. So
I'm not saying go to Stanley Cup this year. Maybe it's not a Stanley Cup winning team. Maybe it's, you never know. But going to the second round is kind of where, like, if you do that and you give it a go, you go to 6 or whatever. I'm just trying to be realistic. Then you're like, as an organization, like, okay, you right, like everything kind of came together fine. You get excited for the second round. There's more things downtown they do, the more attraction.
Yeah. Listen, I don't blame every GM's in a different spot. Every GM in the league. Some have real pressure to get into the playoffs, some have pressure to win a round, some have pressure to win the Stanley Cup. We've talked about that before.
Yep.
So I don't point the finger at Doug Armstrong for not, creating a big splash at the trade deadline. You can only do so much, with your the resource that you have from a salary cap standpoint. But what Billy Guerin did, man, by identifying what he needed, he got the goalie, we know that, but then you get Delorier, you get that Middleton, who nobody knows who the hell he is, man. This guy from San Jose who just crushes guys. He's got size, he plays tough, he plays hard. Those are the type of the players that you need. Oh, yeah.
Big Marcus.
But I'm talking about the new guys, man. I know. Those are the players that you need that all of a sudden, if you're in that dressing room and these two guys show up, you're like, hell yeah, welcome aboard, man.
Because they're quick. There's Zuccarello's flying around. Kiprusoff has the puck the whole fucking time. And then all of a sudden you got Delorier. He's just mean. And like in the playoffs, like he could be really mean. Those guys could get that Greenway's big, like fuck you. I don't know. Dumba hits.
I know, but let me just say this though, man. If Talbot's the better of the two, listen, you just made this trade. If you try to force feed Marc-Andre Fleury, and listen, we've got Ryan Miller on this. Edition of the Cam Strick Podcast, brought to you by Hair Club. And he talks about it. I remember back in 2014, I was with the Blues on the road when the trade was made, when he came to the team, and everyone was thinking, wow, they got Ryan Miller, former Vezina winner. Like, he was the big fish available at the trade deadline. And he talks about how difficult it is for a goaltender to come to a new team with pressure and, like, to be able to perform when you're trying to adjust and learn the tendencies of your new the defense that you're playing, behind and all that type of stuff.
How to get to the rink, little things.
Everything. And so it didn't work. You don't see too many star goaltenders traded at the deadline. Now, Marc-Andre Fleury obviously is one of those guys right now. But if you try to force feed him with the other guy who's been there, who's all of a sudden playing at a high level again, and Fleury struggles, I'm not all in on Minnesota. Let me just say that. I'm not completely all in on Minnesota. I like what they did at the deadline. They're playing some really good hockey right now. But if you look at how they're winning, Cam, at the same time, they're getting outplayed. They're winning in dramatic fashion. They scored a 4-on-3 overtime goal. You don't get 4-on-3
They don't lose in
overtimes
overtime.
in the playoffs.
They don't.
No,
I know, but
so there's a lot of positives, and it's all good. But I'm not about to make any predictions in terms of what they're going to do come playoff time yet.
Well, I'm looking at like the playing the Blues, like they're gonna get in trouble the way both of them are playing.
Well, the Blues always have their number. I'm just saying.
Well, I know. Well, until they don't, one's confident, one's not. Look, I'm not down. Like, who knows what the hell's gonna happen? I'm just saying, like they got to get going. There's a lot of good teams out there. A lot of people win all in. Pittsburgh wins 11-1. You know who the other team that beat the Red Wings by 9 or plus more goals was? Us in 2009. Maybe 10. I think it was 2010 when they had a really
4 goals or something.
I had a goal and assist, by the way, playing with Reaver. Oh yes, I did, and Joe Lewis. And then and we beat them 10-1. And then I tried to fight Cronwall at the end of the game, like an asshole. To get
he probably crushed you inside the blue line.
No, I crushed. It's on YouTube. I crushed him behind the net with like 2 minutes to go, up by 9 because I wanted to get to Gordie Howe. Because I'm selfish. And then they were so pissed. And then I went up to Zetterberg after the game and I go, "Hey, dude, can I get a stick signed from you?" He goes, "Hell yeah, sign me a stick." After being a dickhead on the ice. Yes.
Where's that stick now?
I gave it to my cousin Derek.
Oh,
no,
nice.
I gave it to something important. Because I remember looking at it like, oh God, here you go. I just remember, one of the. Sometimes he's got. What am I going to do with it? Anyway,
well, that's a good story.
Is that a good story? Sorry about that, Andy. You want to talk about your high school thing?
I read this. Well, we can talk about my game yesterday too. I played yesterday over the weekend. But I read something about Detroit, Cam. They're the only team in the league that's given up 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
Brody,
11 goals.
I believe posted that, Andy.
Did he post that?
Yeah, I think so.
I was just reading that. That's funny. Yeah. I was doing some research because Brody sent some topics.
Well, you should. You should, Andy.
If you had to pick one player, Cam. I'm talking goal scorers. You look at the top 2 goal scorers in the game right now. You got Draisaitl, you got Matthews. Both of those guys, 1, 2 in the league. If you had to pick one, who you taking?
I like Matthews, man. I think he's unbelievable. He's so flashy. He's an absolute superstar, and Toronto's lucky to have a guy like that. And they got a cool team up there, man. I know we kind of chirp him a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But I'd probably take Draisaitl. Just his size. Like, he's kind of more like pissy, and I remember we kind of chirped him because he's like fuck yeah fans, like he's just, I think he's more like fuck everything, let's go, I'm big.
Draisaitl is 8th in the league in even strength goals. I mean, Matthews leads the league in even strength goals, and there's something to be said for that. Okay,
100%,
Matthews has 13 power play goals. Draisaitl has 20. Draisaitl plays more. He gets way more assists. He's got more points than Matthews.
Yeah, but
in terms of pure goal scoring, man, in terms of being able to turn something out of nothing, they can both do that. Don't get me wrong. Draisaitl's a hell of a hockey player, man. I love watching that guy play. But if I had to pick one, I'm taking Austin Matthews. Just in terms of pure goal scoring, I would take Matthews over Draisaitl.
You know what, Andy? You might be right on that. But I don't know. I kind of like Draisaitl. They're both it's hard. It really is. He's just big. They both need to look. It's hard to compare because everything's more regular season based. Like I like to see how their attitude is in the playoffs. And if I'm going to compare it like that, then I think Draisaitl would have more of an edge to get around the fuck you-ness, right? Like the hooking and stuff and the extra hits. I think Draisaitl, if they go deep in a play, he would be more effective in the long run. Is what
Edmonton's in more of those games, man. Like when you watch them play Calgary. I mean, these are like playoff games from like the 1980s, dude. Like you just you can't script that. Yeah. You don't see any games like that in today's NHL. And I know like everyone wants to see the 5-on-5 brawls and the goalie fights and all that stuff, but sometimes they're just going back and forth and they're just scoring goals like they did in the game the other night, man, with Calgary and Edmonton. And just watching Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk and these guys, Lindholm, these guys are unbelievable. Matthew Tkachuk, by the way, up to 82 points when we're recording this. He's like plus 42. He's going to shatter his career high of 34 goals. I think he's at 32 goals right now. You got Gaudreau at 90 points. What's interesting, though, man? This is when they have to do it. Like, Calgary has no choice but to be all in because all you got to do is look at the contracts of these guys, whether it's Gaudreau, you look at Matthew Tkachuk. There is a possibility, Cam, and I know I've said this before, that a year or two from now, you don't have either of those two guys on the roster. From what I understand and what I'm hearing, is that Gaudreau, as it sits right now, and things can change, his first option is not to re-sign in Calgary. Now, we'll see how it plays out. And we've said the same thing about Tkachuk. Things can certainly change. But they got to be all in, man. They got to go for it now because, again, those are the two best players offensively. And there's a chance when it's all said and done, a year or 2 years from now,
Yeah.
you may not have either of those.
But let me ask
guys.
you something.
Yeah.
Name all the teams that are going all in, you think? I don't know. I believe there's a ton of them. I mean, you got
there's a bunch
Tampa,
of teams that are,
you got Florida, you got
Rangers.
Carolina. I think the Rangers, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Calgary. Is Vegas in that? You got Colorado, you got Nashville, you got St. Louis.
You feel bad for Vegas? Because I don't.
Nah, not really.
And they went all in with Jack Eichel, whatever. They've got so many issues. This Dadonov, by the way, somebody had it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Whoever did that, it was brilliant. They had the reversible jersey, you know. It was part Anaheim, part Vegas, whatever.
Memes. Yep.
Oh, yeah. You could turn it inside out. But listen, people didn't like it. I threw this out there on social media, man. I asked the league directly. I said, hey, who's responsible for this entire mess? And they flat out right away, they said this is all on Ottawa.
Oh, go figure.
It's on Ottawa. And like everyone's like, oh, of course it's Ottawa's fault. But, if they didn't tell Vegas, which, you talk to different people around the league, agents and whatever, like they think it should be in the standard player contract that it should say if he has a limited no trade clause or whatever, full no move, whatever it is, it should be in the contract. So I don't really know the logistics in terms of what's in the deal. I don't know how you could make this mistake where a team could think, hey, we're going to trade a player when the player has the contractual right to block that trade from happening and you don't know about it. Like Vegas, people are like, oh, Vegas tried to pull the wool over his eyes and trade him to a team that he didn't want to go to. Like, I'm not buying that. Like, they wanted to move the player. They desperately needed to move that salary so they could add guys to the roster, whether it's Martinez or Stone or whoever it is between now and the playoffs. They want to get these guys back if they even make the playoffs. And now this is going to be a challenge for Vegas, but you don't think they would have traded him somewhere else? If they knew that he had a limited no trade, they would have found a team that he would be okay accepting a trade.
I got a concussion listening to it, man. I don't even know. But sometimes it's a clusterfuck as a player and shit goes down and all of a sudden you're like, fuck everything. I'm just going to go play.
I give him a lot of credit though, man, for how he's handled it. He came back. He had a couple real good games. He scored some big goals. So Dadonov, man,
your value,
I don't blame him. He did nothing wrong in this situation, by the way. He did nothing wrong. He shouldn't be taking any blame. But Vegas is just they're like a disaster, dude. They're a mess. If they don't make the playoffs, you're going to see massive changes coming out of Vegas.
Yeah. As they'll be in a jam. They'll be in a jam.
Yeah. Are you buying Calgary in the playoffs, though?
Yeah, man.
Full on, 100%.
Yeah, I like them, Andy. I do. I think it is. I was going to ask you, too, by the way, you think these stars want to get out? Are they getting out of Canada? Is that what that is? Like Calgary? I mean,
well, with Goudreau and Matthew Tkachuk.
I mean, but is that going to be a theme? You think
they're Americans? They're Americans anyway, so it's not like listen. I'll be interested to see Cam. I mean, to answer your question, I think there's going to be a challenge for some of these Canadian teams. I mean, I'm not going to rag on the Canadian teams. I got to point out, somebody sent me a message on Twitter being like, dude, why are you so hard on Toronto? Listen, we love Toronto. I love the Maple Leafs. We have fun with the Maple Leafs because obviously they get so much attention and they're the big dog around the NHL. Everyone's talking about the Maple Leafs. All the national media out of Toronto. At the end of the day, they're Toronto Maple Leaf diehard fans first, then NHL analysts second. Let's be honest. Okay, they love the Maple Leafs. And so, listen, sometimes we just like to kind of bring a little bit of a balanced approach and have fun with it. But dude, of course, we love Toronto. We recognize how important.
Well, they haven't done shit
in the hockey
Andy.
world, Yeah,
they haven't done shit. They haven't done shit. And look, I root for teams like that, but they haven't done anything in a playoff. Like they haven't gone far in a long time, and the fan base is like, "Fuck this! We're spending a shit ton of money. It costs out the wazoo to go to a fucking game in Toronto." Like they need to do something. I know they're sexy during the regular season. They are, and I know this is like a repeating common theme, but it's true. They need to kind of go far. Like the fans kind of deserve it up there. They really do.
Mm-hmm. No, the fans deserve it, man.
They do, man.
I would never chirp the fans.
Fans
Toronto.
deserve
it.
We
love
the writers and all that. Like we don't care. Whatever. Like they kiss their ass. It is what it is. But they need to do something.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge once again this year too for Toronto. I just wonder what the fallout will be there.
Florida. Ooh, boy, I saw them play the other day. They might lose a couple games here and there, but you're like, yeah, you're fucking good.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? It's still different. It's still new territory for Florida,
who
hasn't won a playoff series since 1996. And I know it's a different team. These players weren't on the team back then. They've only made the playoffs 4 times in the last 20 years.
Andy,
I mean,
you're
like,
100%
I don't
right.
know.
You're 100%
We'll see
right
how
on
they
that.
handle it. Toronto's going to have a lot to play for. Toronto beat Florida on Sunday
Florida.
too. So it's not like they
Them
can't beat
Gators in Florida. Holy fuck, man. The fat ass literal gate. Not, by the way, don't ever have your two lovely daughters ever go to goddamn spring break down in Miami. Don't you do it, Andy. I'll put my fucking foot down. They're not allowed to go to spring break in Miami.
What
It's
happened
a
in
cluster.
Miami?
My
wife and I were just there.
Yeah, but you never go down to spring break. It's craziness down. Guys are shooting. There's like a 6 o'clock booze permit, curfew, psycho weirdo, Pepe Le Pew, touchy feet. If I swear to God, if you're like, huh, go ahead, Chloe, go down to I'll put my foot down.
Wow,
Psychoville down there.
Yeah,
they should all go to the Florida Panthers game though, because they need some kind of like craziness,
they need some mojo, in there.
Get the crazies out there somehow. I don't know how that works, but they need it.
Mm-hmm. A couple things I want to pass along before we get into Ryan Miller. It was great. Ryan Miller, awesome career, great interview and all that. Listen, the winningest American-born goaltender in the history of the game. There's something to be said for that. His performance in 2010 is historical, legendary. What he did not only in the Olympics, but obviously in the regular season too, man, winning the business. So excited to have let people hear this conversation coming up with Ryan Miller, who he's a little different, right? Ryan's like, he's not the loudest, most exciting person when he talks, but like if you just listen to what he says, man, it's well calculated, very intelligent. He's going to have a lot of options to do whatever the hell he wants to do here in his post-career.
Oh, yeah.
And if he wants to be high up with an NHL team, he's going to have that avenue to explore too. But real quick, a couple of things. McDavid, by the way, has more even-strength goals. I wanted to point that out than Draisaitl. I mean, so Draisaitl scores a shit ton of goals.
Okay.
And again, great player, man. But to getting back to the Matthews versus,
you're looking at your notes right now or something.
I took a couple, dude. But it's more so for tonight.
Yeah, I get you.
Not for the podcast.
Yeah, you got
the
Blues game in Vancouver tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, Vancouver tonight. I do want to give a shout out to Sidney Crosby though, who's got 66 points in his last 47 games, dude. And so Sidney Crosby at 34 years of age, man. He's one of the first players I look for after every morning, man. I look at box scores and I say, how did Crosby do?
Dude, I remember seeing him when I was playing juniors in Windsor, and he was really young. And I heard about him when I was playing juniors. I'm like, who's this fucking kid? Like, I don't know. Like, he was a big kid before. He was the first time like I really looked at a guy that we're older than, and all of a sudden you're hearing about him when you're trying to watch highlights in the locker room of what the fuck you guys, and all of a sudden they keep talking about this Sidney Crosby kid. Yeah. I had heard about it, and all of a sudden, I don't know, you're playing against him.
Hey, man, but there's something to be said about Sid. And I know, like, listen, we're not huge fans of LeBron James either, but when you get that much attention as a young kid,
he plays
long before you ever make it, and then you show up and you do it, and you confirm that you are that great, there's something to be said for that.
Andy, has he ever gotten in a jam? Like loud, stupid tweet. And LeBron has some fucking dumb fuck tweets.
Yeah.
Calling out a police, like what? Like crazy. Has Sid ever fucked up in any way? Like
I don't think so.
I don't think so, man.
He kind of was loud when he first came into the league.
No, he was bitching at the refs. That's internal stupid shit.
Yeah.
That's petty. Yeah. That's internal game stuff. Like he never.
But you know what? LeBron takes some serious abuse, man. You hear that shit on social media, what the fans say to him. I don't know how he holds it together.
He's loud too.
He is.
Come on. He's loud. Like he's doing great. Like he's the best athlete in the world.
Yeah.
And I respect the shit out of him. But he does some stupid tweets and he's loud and he needs it. If people are chirping Crosby, fuck him. He deserves it too. Mm-hmm. They all deserve it. We all do. I get chirped. Like we're in the spot. Like, like that's just the way it is. Yeah. I can't feel sorry for it. We all take a beating with that shit. We're all fair game.
Well, Crosby, dude, he missed the first 12 games of the season because he had injury. Then he had COVID. I think he had 3 points in his first 8 games, and now he's turned it on with 66 and 47, dude, averaging almost 1.5 per game. 34 years of age, man. It's really impressive. Evgeni Malkin, by the way, passes Jaromir Jagr. He's now third all-time in goal scoring in the history of the Penguins. We'll give him a shout-out.
Yeah.
Mario Sidney Malkin. That's really the way it should go. Although Jagr won a couple Stanley Cups there or whatever.
Yeah, so you're not going to keep Jagr in the mix on that? What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know. Malkin. Well, who's the biggest legend? Who's the bigger legend in the history of the Penguins? Is it Malkin or is it Jagr? It's a fair question. Malkin's won more Stanley Cups there than Jagr did.
Jagr's a 10 times bigger name.
10 times bigger. I wouldn't say
Yager,
he's 10 times
Yager.
bigger.
If you walked around
Historically, listen,
yeah.
he's one of the listen.
He's just a bigger
Yager
name.
played forever. He's a bigger name than Malkin. I'll give you that. But
Like
in
way
terms
bigger.
in terms of historically speaking, with the Penguins specifically, Malkin's right there.
Yeah, he's right there. But I mean,
now he's got the numbers.
I can't.
Now he's got the numbers to prove it. If you're talking about who's the,
you said
over
bigger
their
name,
career.
and I said fucking Yags, and then you say even in the Penguins, Yags is still up there, but Malkin's done more for the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically and all that, and he's kind of a dick and funny, like he chirps people, fucking chirping Billy Guerin, like, well, you're fucking old, like he doesn't give a shit, and I respect that too. He's from Melgodorsk, Russia, which is like, if you look it up, it's like smokestacks out the fucking wazoo. It's all. Oof.
Yeah, but he's basically playing on one knee too. He had the reconstruction knee surgery, dude. He still has 32 points in 30 games. So we'll give a shout out to Evgeni Malkin too. All right, let's get to Ryan Miller, American Michigan State legend. There should be like 15 statues.
Sorry.
Oh, you did call it Michigan. It was just like the biggest insult, by the way.
I'm sorry,
you can give somebody.
I'm sorry about that.
To say Michigan and not Michigan
I'm
State.
Sorry.
That's terrible, dude.
I'm sorry about that.
Brought to you by Hair Club and hairclub.com, Cam. Tell us about Hair Club.
Well, you know what? Hey, look at my front of my hair. I got a compliment on Chicklets, by the way. I kind of watched it. And
how'd that go, by the way? Did you had the candles going? And
I was all right.
That, right?
Yeah, I had all that stuff going. It was great. I should have told a couple. I should tell the story now. The Twister story. They asked me about Twister, but I didn't know they were going to ask me about Twister, right? But I should have told this story about us going over to Twister's house in the middle of the woods.
Tell them that
because it just popped up, and I didn't know what to say.
Dude, they're asking you questions like you're a blues analyst.
I know.
Like you're like trying to break it down. It's like,
I did okay.
You got Cam Jansen down there. I don't know if those are the questions. Like
I did okay.
Story time. You did great. Dude.
People told me that
we love
pretty
those
good.
Guys.
I get evaluated. Because I keep my DMs open, but people are pretty good. It was mostly positive, which is good. Fine. But I should have told the story about going over to Twister's, and I get there early because I'm texting Twitter like, "What's up?" And Twister and I go on and we do our thing like, "What's up?" And we're like, "Andy's coming with with our engineer at the time with the camera," and so I'm like, "Okay, let's do something." So Twister's like, "I got it." So we're waiting for Andy to show up, and he shows up and he walks in like, "Hi everyone, I'm Andy," and Twister's monster dog with the biggest ball sack I've ever seen in my life.
Biggest muscles ever. It looks like Ray Lewis with 4 legs, dude.
No, he looks like the Ghostbuster dog on Ghostbusters 1. When they come to it like, rah, blah, 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 and it goes up to Andy, and he's like, oh God, what do I do? And so finally the dog gets away, and then Twister comes up behind him with 2 guns and puts him on his stomach.
On his back. On my back.
No, he bet like he's going to kill you, like you're robbing his house, and scares the shit out of Andy. And there was... And I actually kind of felt bad for you a little bit because you're like, what is going on? I was like,
I'm not a gun guy. Let's put the guns away. And I didn't want to act like too crazy scary because I got this dog staring at me. I know.
And I felt bad afterwards because Andy's living in he's living in Fancyville. He hangs out and he takes that. Now he's in fucking hardcore motherfuckingville with a bunch of shit kickers. And he's walking in there, and that's what they do out there. And it's kind of crazy.
No, they don't do that. No, they don't do that.
Well, you don't.
They don't do that.
You're not used to that kind of stuff. And Twister scared you, and I was a little worried. And then I kind of felt bad for you, but it is what it is.
Oh, but I love Twister, man, and I knew he would never do that. But I'm telling you, accidents happen. That's why you don't play with guns, dude.
Andy, I heard you.
I could see that being like a headline story, like gun accidentally goes off at Tony Twist's house.
I'm sorry. I didn't do it.
I don't me in the back.
I'm not comfortable.
Kids, man. I got a lot going on right now, Cam. I can't be having guns in my back. Okay,
you're okay.
People rely on me. They depend on me.
He's doing. You're right, and I that's why I felt bad afterwards. I didn't tell him he's crazy, and I didn't tell him to do that. He wanted to scare you. I thought the dog was going to scare you enough, but then he did that, and I'm like, oh boy. But I don't do that. I'm scared of my gun. I don't even. The other day,
God.
But this was scary, Andy, and I tell you, and I'm way out in the middle of nowhere. But she literally woke me up like someone's in the house, and she doesn't do this. We weren't partying that night at all. I had to get up early. She goes, Cam. I go, what? Stop. She wasn't stop snoring. She goes, Cam, get up. Somebody's in the house. And I go, and there was 15 seconds where I'm like, I'm gonna have to kill somebody. I go, she goes, somebody's in the house. They're in the kitchen. And I go, oh my God, I get my gun. Like, I go,
no, you didn't.
Butt naked. I look out. I go, where's Boo? I go, hey, where's Boo? She goes, she's
Boo
right
the
here.
cat.
I know. I go, where's Boo? Is she there in her house? Because she's her little house seat at her feet in the bed, because that's where she sleeps. I go, is she there? She goes, yeah, she's in here. And I look out there and it's like, dink, dink, dink. And I look. And it is Boo. And she's licking a plate that I left out, that I had a steak that night. And she's looking at goddamn, and it was shaking something, and something fell. And Kate literally never does this. And we didn't drink that night. Well, I did, but she didn't. And she woke me up. That's Andy. There's this 15-second pause where I'm like, this is the real deal. And it fucking fucked me up. And she honestly apologized to me that night. She goes, I'm so sorry about that. I go, God damn. I go, whoa.
So what do you do with the gun now? Now that it's like you
if a guy's in the house and you gotta,
but how do you put it back into its position where it's not locked and loaded?
Take it out, put the thing in, and I have it right.
That's how accidents happen, dude.
I don't have kids, damn it. I'm not pointing at my wife.
And
if somebody is in my house, Andy, by the way, I was ready to shoot, but I was more like, I want to see who it is first. Like, what if it's the old man down the road that just kind of fucked up? Or what if it's a deer that I left the door open? And
keep a hockey stick or a baseball bat under your bed, and then you go hit him with that. You don't have to
so fucking naive, and that is such a stupid comment.
I mean, why do you need to kill somebody over that? All of a sudden, the gun backfires. You got Kate in the house, the dogs. Something bad's going to happen. I just can't believe what you're doing right now.
Somebody's in your
Get a baseball bat. Get a baseball bat. Aluminum.
So dumb.
I'd swing the
Don't
shit
make
out
me
of
be
that.
mean to you with that. Like,
get a baseball bat. Or you need some Hackett security, which is what I have.
I do.
I just hooked up a player with that too. You need to get a security system with like video surveillance. So all of a sudden,
camera stoop.
You go in Cam's terminology, go bah, 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 and then all of a sudden now you see the video. You know what's going on in the kitchen. You see Boo the cat like licking the plate, and you go back to bed. Dude.
I have it, but at that moment she just woke me up, and I just had to. You don't have time to look at you. I just wanted to.
Wow.
She scared me.
You go back to sleep. You go back to sleep after that?
Fuck! I had to get up at 4:15 in the morning, and I'm like, oh Jesus, Kate. She really apologized. We went to dinner and made sweet love that night.
Okay, good.
And it was fine. But I worked.
All right, so listen. Anyway. Let's get to Ryan Miller. Hair Club and hairclub.com. Yeah. 800-279-7878. Go to hairclub.com/Cam Strick. That's our landing page. Go there today and sign up for your first consultation. From there, you're going to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars, because that's what we do. We save you money, and we want to improve your life. We want to give you more confidence, have you feel good about yourself, have a little extra pep in your step when you walk out the front door. You know what I'm saying, Cam?
Absolutely. Look at yourself in the mirror. If you're 23, 24, you're going out and about, you're single, and you're just like, I got hair. Like, I'm putting some gel in this bad boy, a little wax, this, that, and the other. Brings confidence. Walk into the room, you feel confident. I'm telling you.
Sometimes when you lose your hair, Cam, it's out of your control. You can't control it. But one thing you can control.
Actually, that is all the time.
Yeah. Well,
it's all the time.
You can control your life, though, and your happiness a little bit. And, one way to do that is go explore one of the hundreds and hundreds of solutions that they have over there at Hair Club. Over 1,400 locations throughout North America. There's no excuse not to be able to get to one. They're everywhere. And they treat you like family, man. In terms of the customer service you get, it's second to none. You know that. You've talked about your experience. You walk in there.
Look at the front of my head, baby. What's up?
They're like, hey, how you doing? I know you haven't been going with the hat as often lately.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I did. I went no hat on on Chicklets. I put it because I felt pretty confident. The back of my head, but the front, you're like, what's up? What's up?
Is it true that wearing a hat too often can make you go bald? Is that true?
I think so. I think listen, you have no control. You can't just be like, I'm wearing a hat too much, I'm going bald. No, if you got thick hair, man, you can do what the fuck you want. But it is hereditary. I don't know how it exactly works. I think it's your grandfather. It doesn't matter. But you cannot control it. You have no control over that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, but I get it. Like, you're like, oh, boy, it started happening when I was playing for the Blue. Like, damn, my helmet's coming off in fights. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's so embarrassing. Yeah. Well, don't be embarrassed by that.
Andy, Andy, I was still piss pumping guys and taking my jersey off in the penalty box, and women folk are going crazy. It didn't matter that much. But I'm telling you, but if you are young and you are losing your hair, like, you're like, damn, like the confidence does seep out of you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 800-279-7878. Hairclub.com/Cam Strick. Get there and go there today and use our promo code or just sign up for your first consultation. right then and there, man, you're going to save hundreds of dollars. All right. The Cam Strick Podcast is also brought to you by CarShield and CarShield.com, 800-857-2481, baby. Use that promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. I know it's embarrassing, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to save some money. And you never know when something's going to go down. You just cannot predict when it's going to happen. Your computer goes out, your alternator, your brakes, your starter, whatever it is. If it happens, just have some peace of mind knowing that protection is there from CarShield. Choose where you want to have it serviced. You pick your own mechanic. They hook you up with the rental car, all that type of stuff. It truly is incredible, Cam. We love our friends over at CarShield, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And they love hockey, man. They do a lot for St. Louis, too. I'm watching Stevie. He was, I don't know where, I think he's on vacation. Those guys are doing great work. A lot of people work there. They have a lot of people that come and it's tough to get a job and stuff like that, man, but they hire a ton of people. They have a cool, huge building way out there, Andy. Remember when we went there and I busted my tire up?
Yeah.
Remember I was driving there? Oh, my God. Yes, it was embarrassing where my tire blew out going like 80 miles an hour on the highway. I'm like, oh, boy, it's over. And then finally, I'm like, where am I doing? And like, oh, CarShield's right here. And they just picked it up. And they took care of it. We toured the building. Remember we did that video for them? That was cool.
Yeah. We'll do another one here soon. We'll do another one for those guys.
Let's go. I'm ready.
100%. We'll do that. CarShield and CarShield.com. We need to be on one of those national campaigns, though.
I know, man.
Those national commercials.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
I'll let them know.
We love our friends over there. Again, mention that promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. Easy. How about Lucy Goosey, Cam? You got your Lucy nearby, baby?
Yeah, it's right here, baby. Right here, my cinnamon. I just throw it in. It's easy to talk on the radio with it, too, you know? Yeah. And then if I'm like, my breast's stinking, I'm like, I'll take a piece of gum. And then it, like, cures my craving for, like, nicotine, you know? Like I'm telling you guys, if you're addicted to nicotine, like you throw a piece of gum in, your breath smells better. And then you could actually talk to people. You throw these in, you could talk, you do this, you do that, then get over your teeth. It's quite nice.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Settle down back there. Tell your kids to settle down
you
back
hear
there.
It's just Ty. It's just Ty, He's the only one home right now. I'll bring him in. But I brought some for the boys yesterday in the locker room, too. Everyone was like, putting in that loosey-goosey after the skate. The pouches, the lozenges. I probably should have went to
that thing. But
yeah, I don't know why you didn't.
Because I have to go get my no, motherfucker.
And they're all chirping me because whatever. Like, dude, you can't get Cam here. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Now I'm a princess because I have to drive all the way to get my equipment in the locker room, pack it up, then go on a Sunday where Kate's off. She's changing her job next week, but our Sundays are our Sundays, and it's like I want to hang with her and chill. And
she getting a new job?
Yeah, standing at home.
Really? Get out of here.
Yep.
Same company or no?
No, a different company. I'll explain it when it's done deal, but it's quite nice. She's at home. She can just do email stuff, maybe make a phone call here and there. And I kind of need that. Like the dogs, there's a lot of shit we want to do around the house, stuff like that.
Now she's going to see what you're up to all day long. You know that.
Are you
you're going to have to change your habits.
Are you kidding me? She has a chip in me. She knows exactly where I go. If I need to get things done, and she'll but if I'm too much,
you think she knows. You think she knows
every goddamn move I make. It's fine. Like I kind of put myself in a situation, man. We've been through it, but I'm good. We have fun together. We're gonna go on vacation. Come over on to Cabo. We're going down to Table Rock where you went, Andy.
Oh, where are you?
But we're actually gonna rent a boat and do our thing. We're gonna stay at. We got those cabins around the water. Rent a cool boat. Pack a cooler. There's no one fucks with you down there. Find a little cove.
No, dude, it was great, man. We had the best time down there. Oh yeah, honestly,
lovely.
It's not like the party area of the.
No, you don't want that. I don't give a shit.
But it was a great time down there. It's beautiful. Honestly, close your eyes, you think you're in Colorado.
But that's what you do, guys. Like it's not. I know this kind of, but you could find ways to take your girl, chill out, get away from the fucking kids, find a way to get something. Go with your girl somewhere, make a fire, do something. Get creative. I don't know.
Get Lucy.
I don't know. Just think
get
about
Lucy,
that. You guys
Goosey.
know what I'm talking. All y'all out there driving trucks, doing your shit, Canada, all over the place. You know what I mean. Sometimes you got to put your foot down, and things are going weird. Kids are driving you crazy. Fucking put them away. Be like, we're going, me and you, girl, and we're doing our thing.
Dude, some people are like, even yesterday, they're like, is smoking cigarettes still a thing? Are people still doing that? Smoking darts?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll smoke a dart here and there or whatever. I smoke a vape pen, weed pens, or where it's at.
But to smoke a Like if you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, man, like there is a better lifestyle out there. Try Lucy.
That's the last thing. Oh yeah,
Try
exactly.
Lucy.
Okay.
Try Lucy. Get all the different flavors. Try them all. They've got the pouches. They've got the lozenges, and most importantly, they've got the gum, man, which is for everybody. And Cam, I got to always tell you this, man, because you know it's important. That warning: this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. We got to let the people know that. You know,
but it's
so
healthier for you. What they do,
Lucy.co, not com, just Lucy.co. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. It's going to save you a bunch of money. You got to use that promo code. We've had some people reach out, by the way, said, "Hey, man, this is like changing my life. I'm on a whole new kick, trying the Lucy products. They try all the flavors."
My girl wants to make out with me now because I don't have bullshit in my mouth. Exactly.
Comes in a beautiful package, too, all the different colors, man. So, again, we love our friends over there at Lucy, Lucy.co. Check it out today. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. All right, how about the Better Business Bureau, Cam? Again, the Better Business Bureau. Let me just give you some facts because, I like to speak the facts. 2020, just in 2020 alone, the Better Business Bureau received over 21.5 million consumer inquiries on
of course.
Better Business Bureau business profiles. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Actually, 215 million consumer. I mean, not 21.5, 215 million.
What are you talking about?
Inquiries.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's a ton. 215. Think about that. Better Business Bureau, man, we love that. Cam, they love the fact they were even saying that they may use this on a national campaign. I got an email because of what we were talking about with hotels and stuff like that.
What about my bald spot?
About bed bugs?
Oh,
well, they can't fix you with that.
Yeah,
that's for Hair Club can fix you with that. But the bed bugs, dude, I mean, the hotel inquiries you can get, which are so important because we're trying to plan some vacations right now for the summertime.
Yeah.
Get out of town. Dude, I'm using the Better Business Bureau like crazy because I'm making sure that I'm not going to regret what I set myself up with.
Especially if you go out east, I'm telling you, man. There's some of those hotels, like, they're fucking nasty. There's some nasty hotels down 44 here in Missouri too, man. Up and down. You got to know if you're cruising down to where you just went with your family, you got to look. Now you went to but sometimes you're coming from different areas in Illinois and you're going down there and you have to stop on the way because, there's some nasty places and you got to have the BBB just so you know. Get bed bugs, something weird. Like it ruined your goddamn trip. Don't do it.
Awful. Yeah. And all these businesses undergo a screening process before they come on board. So again, we appreciate our friends over there at the Better Business Bureau. 314-645-3300 if you're local. BBB.org. Check out their website. Get all the information you need to know. Before we get to Ryan Miller, we'll tell you about our friends over at Bellman Automotive too. Cam, I'm in the market for a car right now. I'm shopping for a vehicle. I'm looking for one as we speak, man.
What, a Prius?
No, not a Prius. What should I get? Honestly, what should I get?
Well, I don't know what you
something that Bellman has, dude.
Well, they got all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, you can get a cool Jeep Grand Cherokee. You don't need I don't think you need a truck. You're a city boy. I want a big truck. I love my truck, man. It still runs like a Cadillac. It really does. But I want to get a brand new. I think my wife wants to get a new car.
Answer the question what I should get. What? Okay. What should I get?
I'd say if you want to be cool, I'd get one of those like turbocharged Jeep Grand Cherokees with a dual exhaust that go like badass. Okay. Now the gas prices might be a little funky on that right now.
Would you go electric? You gonna get yourself an electric car?
Not yet.
No,
I don't drive enough to. I don't drive enough.
Yeah, you
around.
do. You drive a long distance every.
I drive one spot and I come back for another.
Kidding?
I drive one time and back. Kate's not going to have to drive to work anymore. Save us like $500 a month on that. So
is that what you're spending on gas? $500 a month right now?
She was, right?
Yeah, I bet you she was.
She probably was.
All right, so they've got the Buick GMC on one side of the street in Troy, Missouri. On the other side, Cam, it's very easy to get to. You just cross the street, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They've got something for everybody over there. Bellman.com. They will buy your car right now.
Oh, for a lot of money.
Above Kelly Blue Book value. I can tell you that right now. If you're in a lease, they can get you out of that lease. Just go there and talk to the people, man. Best customer service, best people you'll find anywhere. Danny Boy, Kyle, Dale, everybody over there with Bellman Automotive, man. We love our friends over there. All right, let's get to Ryan Miller. People are going to love this, man. 391 career victories, just short of 400. Had an unbelievable run there in Buffalo all those years. Maybe the greatest. I think he is the greatest NCAA goalie in the history of college hockey When you look at what he did, dude,
Yeah,
his
man.
numbers were like
Him and his
video
whole
games.
family.
Oh my God, the whole family played there.
Yeah.
His son, who's 6, already has a full ride to Michigan State. He's already committed to Michigan State.
Already
at
drafted
6
in the
years
NHL
old.
too.
I know. So playing with Kopitar's kid out there in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's
so.
kind of cool.
I know. All right, so let's get to Ryan Miller, man. Enjoy this on the Cam Strick Podcast. The Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now up to the interview.
Hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Is this Miller time?
Oh, out west, it's certainly not. Oh, it's early.
Hey, wake up. What time is it out there in California right now? 8:30?
8:30.
Oh, it's 8:30.
Yeah.
Will you sleep until 10?
Oh, man, we got kid out the door at school. We're moving.
You're moving. I know, man. It was so much easier probably when you were playing. And now you have to do like real stuff, like nonstop. Like you're expected to take the kid to school, right? You can't. There's no excuse, Ryan. You got nothing else going on now, Ryan. Right?
What about the bus?
No bus around here. We're too close. Got the bike. Take the bike to school. And we got about a week, and we got another kid to worry about.
So what do you have now? You have the boy, and then you got a girl on the way. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We're getting close.
One of each. You're gonna love that daughter,
Crunch
man.
time.
You're gonna love that daughter. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, until she gets in her teens. But hey, let me ask you, where you at? Like, tell us about your setup out there. Like, where you at exactly? You by the beach? Like, explain your setup.
Yeah, we're in Manhattan Beach. So it's a nice little community. I mean, it's a lot of pretty Kings heavy.
Yeah.
Obviously, their practice facility is just up the road.
Yeah.
But we moved down here. We had plans to move down here before I signed at Anaheim, just because family environment, a little bit more going on.
The beach.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. Hey, are you by who the boys that we had on the pod? Dustin Penner, is he there?
Jarrett
Stoll's there. You see those guys a lot?
Yeah, I see Stoley once in a while. Matt Green and his son and my son played on the same team this year, but we actually are from the same area. We grew up playing kind of not on the same teams, but just age-wise, but we're from the same part of Michigan.
Okay.
And then that's pretty wild that our kids are on the, they were both 6 years old this year playing on the under 8 and under team. So that was fun. But there's a good group of guys here, and meeting some more of the parents, surrounding our son's activities and stuff. It's actually been a lot of fun.
Listen, I talked to Jarrett Stoll all about Matt Green. I'm like, I want that guy on the podcast. Apparently, he kind of hides out there. He was the biggest psycho I've ever seen. I remember, I think it may have been during the lockout, 04, 05. I'm watching this guy play from North Dakota. I'm like, who is this absolute wild man out
green
there
dog?
Just crushing guys
Blocking shots.
It was like unfair. I'm like, he is going to hurt somebody, and he probably did hurt people. So that's funny you guys have your kids playing on the same team. And my kid plays 6U right now. He's 5 years old, so I know what you're going through, man.
Under
It's
8
fun.
though, so
Yeah.
they're
he's
2
playing,
years.
He's playing up a year.
Okay, so he's 2 years younger. Hey, that's a big gap, from 6 to 8, or is it
Well,
not?
they're playing so there's enough teams out here where they have like a B level.
Yeah.
So they have 2 A teams, they have 2 B teams, and it's definitely a little bit younger kids or kids with less experience at the B level.
Yeah,
so
You're not up in
that's kind of
Michigan.
perfect for like in Michigan where they're wild about it. But no, the hockey here is great. Actually, it's good athletes. Kids are tremendous athletes, and in this area for sure, love the Kings. But even down in Orange County, love the Ducks. During the lockdown, when COVID was restricting things heavily in LA, there's a little bit more open in Orange County. We had Bodie, my son. We drive down there find some clinics and stuff. We had nothing going on. Everyone's locked down. No one's working, nothing. So we drive down there and get them on the ice. So, the hockey here is actually great. Kids are excited. Kids are high level. I think a lot of the AAA teams do really, really well from this area.
No, they do.
Kids come out.
Hey, listen, Ryan Kessler's he's probably trying to recruit your kid already. Get him on that 10U team out there. Where is he at? Caesars or Honey Bake, one of the two.
Honey Bake Ham, baby.
And he's like recruiting kids from St. Louis that are like leaving Ryan. Like they're like 10 years old. They're like babies and they're moving to Detroit to go like play
Military
for Ryan
style.
Kessler.
Yeah, his house is big enough he can house the team.
You want to know the truth though? I think they're living in like Cam Fowler's house. I think so Fowler has a house out there and doesn't live in it. So like he's housing like these ringers that they're bringing in from like to create this like powerhouse.
That's a slippery slope.
10U
Housing
team.
kids.
Hey, I know all about
ask him about that.
Oh yeah, ask him. I know all about the LA AAA teams though, man. They've been good. Like remember like Bo Bennett, we had him on.
That's right.
He was like the first round pick, I think, to come out of Southern California, and now, man, I watch you guys play. They got a bunch of guys.
He's funny, man. That Bo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bo. Yeah, he's a Cali kid. He trained with us. I ran the pro skates here for about 10 years for the guys who weren't on the Kings and stuff like that. But so Bo was skating with us, and we had a good group here. A lot of fun.
Hey, did they get like a statue up in Michigan? You and your whole family, like, goddamn.
No, there's like 20
like,
of them outside the building.
Like, did you run the show in Michigan? Good Lord, how was that experience?
His son already has a scholarship.
That's what I'm saying. Like, your son's gonna walk in there peacocking around. The girls are gonna go crazy. Hell yeah.
I mean, he's got the gift of gab, so he's definitely gonna be popular. He's got a lot of his mom in him, so we'll see. But Michigan State, big part of our family's history. I can thank my grandfather for making a big decision to come down out of Canada and pursue something a little bit different. So, started with him, and then there was 10 relatives that played hockey there, including my father, my grandfather, my brother. So we got some cousins and my great uncle as well. So,
good Lord,
it's we had quite a few people roll in there since the mid 50s. There's pretty much there's been a Miller there, and it's slowed down just a little bit, but pretty important part of our family history.
No question.
Yeah,
you guys bleed green, I'll tell you
Should
that.
own a fucking sector.
Listen, that's like the most insulting thing Cam could have ever said to you, by the way. He said Michigan, not
Wow.
Michigan State.
I went to Windsor, Ryan. Like, wait, come on, dude, I'm a fucking annoyed.
Do your research.
What? I did do my research.
Hey, Kevin and Kip Miller, though, I remember all those guys, dude. Like, that's like part of the Miller clan. Did you guys all grow up like super close, like hanging out, like cousins battling each other, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the age gap's there. So there's 10 years between me and Kip, and then let's see, like 12 to 15 between Kevin and Kelly. But got to watch firsthand what it takes to make it to the NHL. I mean, I think it's a big reason I was able to compete, being a skinny white boy from mid-Michigan.
I know what that's like.
What else is there up there? What else is there up there?
Well, it's just
Sweden.
I got to see what it takes. It's my cousins are training extremely hard in the summer, and it was fun because once in a while, or no more than once in a while, they let us come out. My dad would bring my brother Drew and I. Drew also had a great hockey career, and we got to just get on the ice and just watch them. And when I started playing goalie, it was not it wasn't like gimme shots. They were like, here, stand here and don't really move too much. And they were just absolutely rifling shots, trying to pick the corners. I was like their shooter tutor. And eventually, like a year or two would pass, and I'd start catching up to a few of them, take a few off the head, a couple off the shoulder. And then, it was just a living shooter tutor. And then, eventually you get to the point in the summer, you get old enough, probably getting closer to like 12, 13, and you start making some actual saves. And that was, pretty big, confidence builder for me. It's like, well, my cousin just, won the Hobie Baker, and, he was really trying on that breakaway, I think, and I just stopped it. So,
Take that and like it.
Yeah. So I don't know how much they were taking it easy on me, but it felt like, watching them train and watching them work, they weren't taking it easy. So got to see that, got to experience it, and really left a big impression on me.
Hey, I do have a confession to make about your brother. I think I did chirp him for his hair, And then 2 years later,
hasn't?
2 years later, my hair started falling out. So karma came back and bit me in the ass.
Yeah, what's funny is Drew has a great head of hair. It's almost white now. It's the damnedest thing. Like when he was like 16 years old, he started going gray. They were calling him Grandpa, and he was an underage player on the junior team.
Hey,
but
you know what?
He's thick as shit. He looks like the most important man in that beer commercial.
He's got sick hair, and I thought maybe that's why you went after Matt Martin that one time, because like there's like a famous clip of Matt Martin chirping your brother. So Ryan had to stick up for his little brother.
Yeah, damn right.
You don't fuck with him.
I remember that play, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Ryan lost his mind a couple fucking
Ryan's
times.
like, you're like a psycho.
You lost your mind a couple
I've seen you go crazy.
Well, you got to have some wires there and all that. Not tied in too tightly to play goalie and play hockey as long as we have.
We'll get into those. Hey, real quick before we get into like some like real like interesting stuff. Not to say that this isn't, but like your numbers in college, dude, like unbelievable. Hobie Baker, like all the shutouts, your save percentage, like just like historic numbers that you put up at Michigan State. Like, were you too good for college hockey? Like, and you look back at those numbers, like how proud are you of your college career?
No, I'm proud. I think it's just it was kind of a great environment for me. I dreamed of playing at Michigan State, obviously, as a kid. I had opportunity the year prior to go to Clarkson. Ron Ralston was an assistant coach there, and he had been working with, in Michigan with the I have to go so far back in time here because things operate differently. But back when I was, 15, 16, 17, we had select teams. You play for your region. We play for Michigan. We play against other parts of the country, and you come together and play, USA Hockey Select Tournament every summer. And I was fortunate enough to make those teams, and we won every year. And we had just a really nice group of guys, and a lot of them played, high level hockey. And I had a chance, kind of coming out of there. Ron Ralston was doing some work with that, and then recruited me at Clarkson. But my dream was going to Michigan State, so I held off another year, went to Michigan State, and it was just, everything I had been kind of dreaming of, and just was, that focus I wanted to put into it, the work I wanted to put into it. So just everything kind of just paid off, hit at the right moment, got hot, and we had a good group of guys. And, Ron Mason's teams are known for, solid defense and solid systems. A little bit ahead of his time in that sense, and kind of perfect storm.
Yeah. Hey, good luck to Clarkson getting you out of Michigan State. Like, I mean, that is not happening. And they should have known. Like, what a waste of like recruiting money, really, out of the budget.
The whole family going.
Oh my God, they're like.
I took it seriously. I did, because Joe Blackburn had just signed there, and he had a great start to his career. He was actually an All-American one year, and they wanted me to wait a year to get some separation between the two of us. So, yeah, I mean, there was actually a decision to be made, but I kind of just said, if you ever put yourself in a position to live out a dream, you better take it. Like, I didn't want to put myself in a position to do something and then just turn my back on it. I was just like, what's going to happen if I do something like that? Like, that's a really weird decision to make, where you've done everything possible, you have what you want, and then you go a different direction. So I'm glad I made the choice I did, obviously. And, but it was a little bit harder than it might have seemed.
Were you were you guys a big dicks on campus? I mean, compared to the football guys, I mean, you had been walking around. Everybody knows who you are. Like, explain that. Were the football guys
basketball
a big guy?
guys?
Or the
too,
basketball
man.
guys too?
I mean, football's football. Big Ten. Basketball team was probably the big dog. So they won the title the year I got there.
Mateen Cleaves.
Yeah, Mateen. Yeah, they won the title.
Guy. Hey, they're from Flint.
Freshman year.
Don't mess with those Flint boys, man. I'll tell you that.
Well, fuck, they got a hard time up in Flint.
That's hardcore.
No offense.
And the water sucks too.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God.
A lot of issues. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Flint's going through it, but they got some quality people. We had fun with those guys. They were definitely the big dogs. They were winning some big basketball games, and we were benefiting from it, because those were some great days to be around campus and around the city. as far as, going out and having fun, because everyone's just absolutely hyped up. There's, there's probably close to 70,000 students at Michigan State, and every single one of them is going crazy. Plus, the other parts of town also. So, that was a lot of fun. I'd say we were fairly popular. We kind of got along with everybody. I think that we just had a good group of guys. I don't think we butted heads with anybody, so we just had a lot of fun. Yeah, it wasn't one of those things where sometimes you hear about the schools where the guys kind of butt heads and there's some internal rivalries, but I thought we just kind of got along with everybody. It was fun.
Plenty of girls to go around. It's all good.
Yeah, there you go. I remember, and you guys won the national championship. You weren't on the team, but in St. Louis a few years later. Okay. But Mateen Cleese, were you ever like, Mateen, we're playing Notre Dame tonight. If you want to come to the game, maybe Izzo comes to the game. I mean, come on. Do those guys ever come to the games and support you guys?
I don't know if they came to ours, but we'd always work out with those guys. Yeah. And Mateen couldn't believe that I was the actual athlete, that so skinny. He's like, look at this kid. I'm like, look at you, Mateen. Like, look at you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do those guys
you're 5 foot nothing. You're throwing 3-pointers that barely go over the rim.
Yeah. Is he in the NBA now?
No, he was a first round pick, but he didn't last very long. Yeah. Listen, who made more money?
Exactly. Yeah. How's he doing now? You're living in fucking California.
Married to a
Hollywood actress.
Married to a Hollywood actress.
Yeah, let me ask about that.
It's all in good fun. Though. The team was awesome too.
Oh yeah.
How'd you meet your wife, by the way? Like, how'd that all come about? And were you like, was she a superstar when you met her? And how do you even go about that? Did somebody introduce you guys together? Were you nervous?
Yeah.
You do have nice hair.
I needed some help for sure. We came out to Arizona early on a road trip. We were going to swing west, and that was the first stop. They're actually being decent to us. You know how it goes. Like, sometimes they'll bring you last second, but they let us come out early, about 3 days early. So, getting out of Buffalo in like January. So we were pretty pumped. We had a rookie party lined up and all that stuff. I was like telling my dad, like, yeah, we got 3 days out there. He's like, hey, Tim's out there. And Tim being Tim Busfield. He's have you ever seen Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
Or Field of Dreams? He's the brother who doesn't believe that that whole thing exists. And he's Poindexter in Revenge of the Nerds, and played himself on Entourage. He's like, right. He's a pretty famous actor. He's now a director, and my dad grew up with him, and I'd always known him just as Tim, Uncle Tim. And my dad's like, hey, Bus is out there. He wants to see you. I've been talking to him. He's in Arizona. He's close by. He wants to come to the game. I go, great. Well, we're there early. We'll get dinner with him. Well, dinner with him, he's a fun guy. Like, he likes to go at it. He likes to have fun, likes to talk, obviously a big personality. So we had rookie party, and I was like, you know what, it'd be fun to invite him out. He's like, for sure, I'm coming over. But first I got dinner with my cast. Hey, you should come meet the cast. And I think him and my dad had been talking. And at the time, I think it was unbelievable to people from the Midwest that didn't have a girlfriend. I wasn't married yet, and I was 28.
Welcome to my world.
So, yeah. But I mean, that how it goes in the Midwest. You're like, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I'm kind of busy doing some stuff. But so I think there's a little bit of that, because he's like, hey, I got this beautiful, talented, interesting actress. Told her all about you. Come meet her.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, but meanwhile, it's one of those lines like where it's like, he's trying to play the middleman, but he didn't say anything really. He's just like, hey, my buddy's son's a nice family, nice guy. You want to meet him? Kind of one of those things, and just kind of laid the groundwork and went over and walked into dinner. Actually, Paul Gossad came with me, because I thought we were picking up Tim, just say hi to everybody, whatever. And I was like, well, I guess I got an opportunity to meet Noreen, so that's also a bonus. Like, let's just go grab Tim and figure this out. And honestly, just hit it off immediately. And we were, just chatted for a while. And we, since we had a couple nights there, we went out for a date the next night. and had a lot in common. Just decided we were going to keep in touch because she was working out west and working in Arizona on a TV show with Tim, or a mini series with Tim. And went from there. Just kind of somehow found a way to talk my way into keeping that going.
I like to hear that conversation. I'd write it down and just like go over it.
Who did Paul Gostad go home with?
Were you worried about him?
Did he get like the supporting actress?
You got to bring an ugly guy out.
He's like, hey, I win a lot of face-offs.
I'll slash you.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, big boy.
Paul's a good. Yeah. Paul and I were pretty close for a long time. Still are very close, but it's one of those adventures that turned out, like it was just, didn't expect anything of it. Definitely needed Tim's help to set it up, but it didn't occur to me. He just was thinking, oh, Ryan's single, and I know she's single, and I've been talking to his dad, and maybe I should, hook this up and get two people who might like each other together. So it was.
You're kind of right on the. If you're single and you're 28 and you're from the Midwest, like people are like, "Well, what are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
Like why were you right? And weren't they? You're supposed to get married at 19.
No, I know. At the time too, it was like my dad was like, "Have you tried eHarmony?" I was like,
"Oh God."
I was just like laughing. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Put that salary up there in the bio.
What is it? Farmers only.
Yeah, you can find some cute girls in Middle Missouri, man. I'm telling you.
All you got to do, you go to the cast party. That's how you do it. So
there's nothing wrong with any of the sites, but I was just kind of laughing. I was like,
but Ryan, listen, she's an actress in like California, and you're playing goalie in Buffalo, New York. Like, how did you make that work? Right off the bat, like just to be able to hang out and then like have it evolve into a relationship, considering like you're living in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, it's definitely unorthodox, but you know how busy we are with hockey, and she was pretty busy too. So I mean, we just made that kind of commitment when we had downtime, and the industry has a lot of downtime around holidays, so we spent big chunks of time. She'd be with me, and then I'd committed to living out in California for the summers, and I think you kind of track how when I got traded out of Buffalo, and then I became a free agent, I wanted to move, west, and as wanted to kind of keep things moving forward, family wise. Like right when we moved west is when Bodie was born my first year in Vancouver. So it's been just trying to blend both careers a little bit, and still keep each other moving in the right direction as far as doing the best we could, considering we wanted to be in a committed relationship. So.
Yeah. Well, you want to get the hell out of Buffalo because the weather sucks up there, and go to out west, of course. Hey, let me ask you real quick. Last one on her, but like, is there? Because Andy wants to get into a lot of stuff, and he's giving me that look. But is there any time where like she's doing like a scene, and like the guy's really handsome, and she's got like a kissing scene or something? You're like, that son of a bitch, or is it like, who cares? Whatever. Does it ever bother you at all?
No, I mean, there probably was a time when it affected me a little bit more, but I mean, you get kind of used to the whole idea of acting. It's, honestly, I guess in the last little bit, she hasn't really had, too much to worry about in that regard. So I haven't really had to put much thought into it.
I know,
put your foot down on
Cam
that.
doesn't put any thought in his questions either.
I can't ask that question.
Well, it's an okay question, but I mean, it's acting. They're acting.
I don't care if it's acting. I'd be like, that guy's really handsome.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey,
but that's me. I'm, I'm ugly.
He's got a lot going for him. Hey, listen, when you think when you brought up like Paul Gostad, like I just think about him like being like distraught after you got ran by Milan Lucic, and like nobody did anything. Like I couldn't believe at the time. I'll never forget like nobody like doing anything. And then Gostad said he was embarrassed. He ended up fighting Lucic the next time that Buffalo and Boston played against each other. Which I don't know who wants to go out there and fight Lucic anyway. But you were the one that went after him. Like, take us through that entire play. How do you reflect on it? And how pissed off were you that none of your teammates really did anything on the ice? And, like, what was the fallout in the locker room and all that after that?
I don't fault anybody, like, for that. It was just kind of a weird situation. I don't know. I still kind of feel like it was more of the play got away from Lucic, and he was, I think, a bit annoyed by it because I had eye contact with him, and I just like, you know what, okay, he's gonna bump into me or brush me or whatever. I didn't expect to get, steamrolled, but it just is what it is. It's hockey. There's risk out there, and I think I just kind of, I don't know. It's not like I'm gonna fight the guy, so I was just like, okay, I'll just say something. But I don't know how effective that is. It's kind of just made things worse, I think. Just
when you called him out,
to be honest.
When you
yeah, I mean, what's it really matter? I mean, like, but also like, I'm never gonna be able to fight the guy. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, sneak up on him? Like, it's not gonna be anything where it's retribution. I mean, he's got like 50 to 70 pounds on me, depending on the day.
He's got that hunchback too. He'll catch you with
I know.
one.
We had him on with us. We had him on. Hey, listen, but even he said after the game, like, if somebody on your team ran his goaltender, like, there would be price, hell to pay and all that type of. So, like, after that though, like, did the coach have to address the team about like standing up for one another, like, hey guys,
yeah, I mean,
if anybody knows, like, if you touch the goaltender, like, you may have to like jump somebody if they touch your goalie,
Yeah, I mean, it was brought up, but I mean, like I said, it was kind of just a weird situation where we're all kind of like, wait, what just happened? And I think the way it kind of piled up, like, guys were like, okay, who can really do anything about this? I mean, that's the confusing part. It's like, I think that leads to, hey, we're going to address this in a different way. So we just didn't have the personality. Like, Paul is a strong guy, big guy, but is he on that level? It's a lot to ask of somebody. I mean,
sure.
It's not just like an automatic, like, oh, it's just a little dance. Like, I think that's what the hard part about hockey is, like, when people are watching or spectating and they're trying to take it in. Yeah, it's exciting when guys fight, but like, somebody can get really hurt.
Oh,
like,
fuck yeah.
we spent like, yeah, I mean, you guys know, like, somebody can get really hurt. And like, I actually spent a lot of time, like, when we turned pro, like, I worked with the guys on our team, like Andrew Peters or Sean McMorrow or like somebody like in the minors. Like, it's like, okay, like, I don't want you to like throw me around, but like, I'm gonna try and like tie you up. Like, I need to at least know how to do that and like give me some help, because there's gonna be some moment like I'm gonna have to get into it. Like, just I want to survive, because
you don't want to get knocked out, man. I mean, it's that simple.
But that's what I mean. Like, you're asking somebody to have one-on-one combat with somebody who knows how to do it and is trained for it and is very strong. Like, it's asking a lot. So that's why I don't really, fault anybody. It's a very confusing situation.
Well,
but,
okay. Yeah,
I would have fought him, just so you know.
Well, who didn't you
fight? I like Milan. He's a good dude, man.
And that you ended up did get in a fight. You fought Jonathan Bernier.
Yes.
They went toe to toe with Jonathan Bernier
down the pipe.
And
right.
so, like, some of that knowledge had to come into play there, right? In terms of that's got to be the coolest thing, by the way. Like, it's one thing to make a great save or have a great game, but to have a goalie like fight another goalie at center ice, that's got to be incredible, man. What a rush. What a thrill to have.
Oh yeah, the fans certainly love it. I think Bernier was trying to make an impression. That was his first year going to Maple Leafs, and it was just John Scott. the funny part about that whole fight, like, now it is kind of funny, but like, he lined up against Phil Kessel, and he literally told him, and we were talking to John about this. He literally told him, he's like, hey, I'm going to grab you and kind of toss you around a little bit, but I'm not going to hurt you. Don't worry about it. And Phil is like, what? And he's like, no, I'm not going to hurt you, but I got to grab you. I'm going to, and he's like, the hell you are. And like, that's when you see him kind of like talk and like step back, and then the puck drops and John just comes and Phil starts slashing him. So it was almost kind of like comical. Like, if you know John, and like, he's actually telling Phil, like, hey, I'm going to grab you, but I won't hurt you. And it's just went from there. But yeah, like, yeah, fighting's an interesting thing, like, can turn in a moment. Like, I thought I had a good situation. I thought I had a good tie up. And then I went to throw one punch, and like my upper body stuff is like tight Velcro. And like, he kind of had that, and he kind of like had my arm kind of fought off, and then his stuff kind of like has loose.
Yeah, it all came off.
Yeah, his stuff comes off, and it's like the Rob Ray rule. It's like
scary.
He's out of his stuff, and I'm stuck in mine. I'm like, great, here we go. So I just, more of a defensive posture at that point. But Jimmy Howard like texted me after that. He's like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to undo your Velcro. What are you like?" he's like laughing. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
that was like, all right, next time.
Yeah, when somebody gets out of their uni like that, man, like Razor used to do, but you're defenseless. You can't grab on anything, man, and that's how you get corked. Ooh, that was a good scrap.
What was the dirtier play though? Was it Lucic just steamrolling you, or was it Jordan Tutu? Because Lucic didn't get suspended. Tutu did get 2 games. And wasn't that your first game back from the concussion? Because you got a concussion after Lucic hit you. Your first game back, and Jordan Tutu runs you. And then the whole team for Buffalo, they're like, oh, my God. Now everyone's going after Tutu, including you, by the way, who were on top of him, just like hitting him with your glove on.
Yeah, that was a sensitive subject at the time. It was my first game back and trying to get in the swing of things. And I felt like the skates weren't turning away from the crease, that's for sure. So, but I mean, if we're going to say we're going to drive the net, then, I guess that I was a little sensitive too. I probably would have let it go any other time, but my first game back, I'm just trying to probably set the tone.
No, I love how you
Tutu
react.
hits like a truck too, man.
He does.
And he jumped on your ass.
Did you think Lucic...
Yeah, he's a strong guy.
Yeah, just compare the 2 incidents though. Like one player just got like a 2-minute charging penalty, I think, and the other one got a 2-game suspension. Like, were they that different from one another? Like, were you surprised
one came out of the crease.
The league didn't react to Lucic
I mean,
the same way?
I think the big thing was the crease thing, but I felt like we had eye contact, and the play was kind of gone away from him. It wasn't like a close call on the puck was going to get to me.
Yeah.
It was a breakaway pass. It was a breakaway pass that went wrong. And the other side was, more driving the net, but the puck ends up being gone, doesn't change the route. So
he could have crashed into the side of the goal, or he could have gone into the corner.
He launched himself
and
at
hit your
you.
head, man.
Oh, my God.
I know. That sucks.
So, all right, we'll move on to some other stuff. Listen, you're the all-time winningest goalie in the history of USA, of American-born goaltenders, so congratulations to that. You had an unbelievable career, man, 391 career wins. Just incredible. Hobie Baker winner, best college goaltender ever.
I mean, he's a wheel up in Michigan. Michigan State, I should say. Sorry, Andy.
Wife. I mean, this guy has everything going on for him. But like the teams in Buffalo, you won the Vezina that one year. Obviously, you had just an incredible calendar year when it comes to hockey in general. But what prevented you guys, do you think, from just kind of getting over the top there and getting to the finals? Because you guys went to back-to-back conference finals. We've had some other players from those teams on, man. You guys had some great teams there in Buffalo.
Yeah, those runs in 05, 06, 06, 07, I think that the first year we bowed out to Carolina, we had just decimated by injuries on the back end, and you hit that point of playoffs where guys are kind of dragging, and you just scrapping to get through. And I think we had like 4 of our top 6 defensemen were out, and Jay McKee had a staph infection, and we had other guys who had injuries were out for the rest of the playoffs. And I mean, you got to win with who you got. I mean, that's the point of playoffs. I mean, it just really becomes who's left standing at a certain point. But you hope your top guys are there. And not that we didn't have guys capable of replacement. Doug Jada comes in and actually scores in that game 7. But it's just the experience helps. And I for sure, like if I had the experience I had the next year or just a little bit more time rounding out my game and put us into the same position, I think I probably don't make a couple mistakes that led to goals or plays that lead to goals. I think that maybe I'm a little bit more solid than that with a little more experience. or we're right there. I mean, we had the energy. It was really like a building process. Like that team, just our belief in what we could accomplish just came together so quickly between the two groups of like the veteran guys and the young guys. The belief kind of like both of those kind of, like, you think of those groups almost separately in a way, like young guys gaining confidence and the more veteran guys, firmly believing we had what it took to beat any kind of style team. Like because during the regular season, we had a little bit of trouble with Ottawa. We had a little bit of trouble with Carolina. And we kind of told ourselves, like, if we can figure out how to play a game that can beat those teams, we can do some damage. And by the end, right before playoffs, we were beating those teams. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the season, we weren't. It was almost like we were keeping score in our head about almost like a report card. Like, are we able to beat these teams? And just kept getting closer and closer and closer, and just hit at the right moment. We just had that. I don't know. Like, sometimes in team sports, you kind of hit that feeling, and most teams had it. And that first year, we could have used fewer injuries and a little more experience. And, the young guys played some big roles. We're doing it all without like Tim Conley too. Like, he was out in the first round. And then the next year, I think we just got a little bit tired, ran out of gas. Yeah, we pushed hard for the President Trophy. Didn't probably rest as much as we should have. Definitely the culture of taking appropriate rest is not really part of things then. So we pushed hard for the trophy. We pushed hard. And by the time we got to that conference final, I think we were tired.
So what do you think of Buffalo in general? Like, do you feel like because we've had other guys on, like Brian Giunta and Jay McKee, Danny Briere, all these guys, they've all had their opinions on Buffalo. But do you feel like the organization is starting to trend upwards and starting to move in the right direction? Because it's been a while since we've been able to say that, man.
Well, after Lucic hit, I think it went downhill.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, then all of a sudden, but like, you look at it now. I mean, do you feel like things are like? What do you know about Kevin Adams? Like, are you comfortable with him as the general manager, being the guy to like take the organization back to where it once was? All my roots are from Buffalo, by the way, man. That's where I'm from originally. So I know all about the history of the Sabres.
Hey, we know.
So how do you look at Buffalo as a whole right now, and then what they've been through over the course of the last 10 years or so?
Yeah, it's been a tough haul for Buffalo in the last 10 years, and I feel bad because I feel like I kind of almost grew up there professionally, so it's like I had a lot of strong feelings about Buffalo. Or I enjoyed my time there. I love the people there. I really kind of felt like they cared, and in a small town kind of way. It wasn't like they cared because, this is, just something cool to be part of. It's like, this is who we are kind of vibe, So I always loved and appreciated that, because every game felt important, and that's really what you want to be doing as a player. You don't want to be feeling like, we can kind of play and people sort of care. People definitely care, and that's a much better feeling than people not caring, for sure. So I think that they are always going to have that going for them. They just needed to get a little bit of direction, and I think it's probably a good thing for them. They've kind of moved on to a different core. As talented a player as Eichel is, you have to have a certain feeling around a group to win. And I think that, if they can start to build that feeling that I remember having with our group, then I think they're going to be in a good place. I think Kevin knows what it takes to win. He's done it. He's played a long time. He has a lot of experience in that. And, I think he's first off, I haven't been around him when he came back to Buffalo a little bit. And when I was still there, he's just a good guy, willing to do the work. And I think he's surrounding himself with good people. So I think they're headed in a good direction for sure. And they obviously have the assets to start making some good decisions, or if they want to draft, they have the assets right now. So they're in an enviable position, I think, for a lot of general managers who want to, build the exact team they would want, they're actually in a pretty good position for that. It's just going to take obviously a little bit more time. Nothing's done overnight when you're trying to build something the right way. Like, you got to build the trust, you got to build the camaraderie amongst the team, and you have to, catch fire at a certain point. But I think they still got some time for that. They just got to start feeling good about each other, and then they can get it done.
I look at the Buffalo fan base, kind of like the St. Louis fan base, die hard, spend money. They're into it. They're emotional. If you look at the rankings as far as the TV is concerned, Buffalo's always on there, no matter who's playing hockey. Like, they watch it up there. They love their hockey, and they haven't won a cup. But I feel like it's changed. Like, maybe with the Lucic hit, it kind of went downhill after that. If you kind of like look at the trajectory, but then the other day you got Jack Eichel coming back with Vegas. And Buffalo steps up like, we're going to kick the fuck out of you.
And you look who scored the goals.
You look who scored. Tucky scored the goals. There's a picture of Jack Eichel barely back checking when Tucky's going to get the empty netter. Yeah. And then Jack goes and starts kind of bashing the fan base. And I look at that like, man, you just don't touch that, man. Those guys supported your fucking ass. You got 80 schmel in the bank, and you kind of bash them, bash the organization all you want, whatever, with all of your doctor shit, but you kind of bash the fan base. I didn't like that. They lose. I think now it's trending in the right direction. Let's say you.
I think Jack hopefully regrets saying that. It's probably a very emotional moment for him. I know that when I had to leave, just even the talking to the media about leaving was, hard. And then coming back, it was almost overwhelming for me. Considering what happened with him, I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Like, you can say things that you can take back. I think it's definitely something he can take back if he's, apologetic and he kind of shows some awareness. But in the moment, I get why he's saying it in a way, because it's probably overly emotional, but it's not the right thing to do. I mean, like you said, fans there are fantastic. They did have his back. I think even through the process of, separating himself from the team and ultimately getting traded, I think the fans handled it pretty well. I mean, he was a superstar for them, and it started to come out that he maybe asked for a trade, or that maybe a trade would be the best thing. And then, usually there's a little bit more venom behind the fan base when that kind of stuff happens. I thought he got a pretty fair shake getting out of town.
I agree with you.
So I'd hope he can look back and at some point make amends, because it was a big part of his life, and I don't think he's going to want to shut Buffalo off. I know that I've been away from Buffalo for far too long, considering, as I started my life outside of Buffalo, it kind of coincided with becoming a parent. So it was kind of hard to stay connected as much as I'd like to have been with Buffalo. But I hope he understands, like, he's not going to want to, cut those ties. And it's not going to be a good feeling to
You're gonna have to
erase.
go back there anyway. You're gonna have to go back there and do events and stuff like that. You don't want people to hate you.
You don't need to alienate yourself.
Why would you do
from any fan
chirp
base,
chirp the organization. Don't chirp the fans. They're paying to watch you play.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to want to erase a big part of his life like that. That would be unfortunate. So I hope he can, come to a different place with it. But I'll bring it back to my experience. I wish I could be around Buffalo a little bit more. It's just been, becoming a parent, being on the West Coast, and then COVID. It's just kind of like, there's really been no opportunity. So I'm hoping to get back there, next season, and start to kind of, my son's at a good age where he can start to understand some stuff. So I want to show him kind of a big part of what my life was. And, so I bring it right back to Jack again. I hope he doesn't erase, almost a decade of his life.
Yeah. Hey,
just withstand something like that.
Take your son back there like in the middle of December, middle of January. That's what my parents did to me. It's like, every vacation was like, we're going to Buffalo.
And you're like, go fuck yourself. I want to go to goddamn California.
I want to go to California. Hey, listen, let's talk about the trade deadline 2014. I'll never forget, man, because I was with the team on the road when you and Otter showed up. And Otter's still here, by the way. It's like, he won't. Otter will be here forever. You guys traveled
That's my gift. That's the real gift.
Oh yeah, I know. Right. I always tell him he was a throw-in, but here he is, still here, man. He's doing a great job.
He's become the most valuable piece.
He is.
Awesome.
They wouldn't have won a Stanley Cup without Otter, and his kid's playing too, man. I mean, his little
Maverick,
little
shit kicker.
So,
Mav.
Oh yeah. So. I remember when you guys traveled all night long. You showed up at the hotel. You had that black toque on, whatever. You guys roll in. And there was so much like heavy expectations because, the team obviously had Stanley Cup aspirations. You were the biggest fish available at the trade deadline, not just for goaltenders, for any position. And Doug Armstrong gave up the first-round pick, Yarrow, Chris Stewart, a big package to bring you on board. Did you feel the pressure right off the bat? And what's your take overall on goaltenders moving at the trade deadline? Because it's a tough situation, man, to put on a goaltender.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt it, but I felt like I was welcome to the team too. It was the team went out of its way to make me feel comfortable and get things moving in the right direction. And I think started off all right. Got in a good going. But yeah, it was hard. It was like I talked about a little bit with Scott Burnside. And I think just looking back on it now, I'm retired and actually been, it's been a number of years now. It was a lot more emotional leaving Buffalo than I thought. Trying to shift gears, we've been having a tough time in Buffalo for a while, getting over the hump, getting back to the playoff caliber team, and you just kind of get in a mindset. And, shifting out of that mindset, I actually tried to have awareness about it, knew it was coming, knew I needed to have a shift. But yeah, it ended up being a bigger deal. Not that I thought, but it was a pretty big deal. And it's still one of the more disappointing things to look back on because we had a really strong group, and there's a lot of different reasons that the Chicago series didn't end up going our way, but it was definitely not for the team made me feel really welcome. It was a great group of guys. Still like to see a lot of those guys when I catch up with them or run into them. But yeah, it was a great group. Just wasn't the time. And St. Louis, gets rewarded in the end. They still have a lot of those guys, and they played a big part of bringing the cup to St. Louis.
What do you remember about that Chicago series? Because I think you guys won game one. I want to say in triple overtime. I remember.
Yeah, we won the first two. It was like double and triple, first two games.
Crazy. I remember leaving the rink, and I was like one of the last ones to leave. And Max Lapierre, whoever brought him to the rink, left, and he didn't have a ride. I had to take him home. Actually,
I liked him, man.
He was cool. He was cool. Yeah. But you guys won the first two games of the series, man, and it just felt like maybe this is going to be the year. What changed in your opinion? And the second part of that, yes, go ahead. Answer
they're
that
all
first.
Tight games, though.
Yeah,
they're all tight games. I mean, it was disappointing. I mean, people had expectations, but I think Chicago, first off, they're a pretty good team, and they played a system that's that matched up pretty well to what Hitch was trying to do. They drew you in to their system pretty well, and they had some superstars, and they were tight games. I mean, 4 of them went to overtime, I think. And the other one the other one that really mattered was the 1-goal game. And I think the last game got away from us a little bit by the end, but so essentially it's 5 1-goal games and tight series. And it's super disappointing when you put up the trade and all that stuff. It looks terrible, but it's, it is a hockey series. You got to play it out, and they were tight games and they were close. But but I don't know. I kind of go with it. Everything sounds like an excuse, so I just kind of throw it up. It's a tight series, and it's one of the more disappointing things for me that we couldn't get something from that situation. And then, of course, that after that kind of blows up, I'm moving down the road because there wasn't an opportunity there for me after that. So grateful for my short time in St. Louis because I liked a lot of the guys there. I thought. Aside from that series, we all feel, pretty positive about each other. And I still love to see the staff and everybody when he came through St. Louis, stop by back behind, say hi, goof around on the ice, that kind of stuff. So,
yeah. No, you're a Blues legend, man. Blues legend. Although you had to wear that white mask. Like that's got to be hard for a goaltender. Like you want to
mask?
You want to have that swagger, feel comfortable right off the bat. Like the first couple of games, you had to wear that all white mask.
Oh.
But
no wonder.
But when did you find out that they wouldn't be re-signing you? Like was that like a mutual decision? Was that more on the team? Like were you hoping to stay here and return to St. Louis?
Well, I wanted to. Yeah, I like the group and I like the concept of it. I just didn't know what their plans would be. I talked to Army before I left town, and he thought there was going to be a way forward, and he would reach out. But when he did reach out, he said that there was not going to be a way forward, and good luck.
Good luck.
And that's it.
And then you go to Vancouver. You go to Vancouver. Hey, let's talk about the Olympics real quick, man. 2004 or 2010. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the greatest performances we've ever seen, man. I mean, just Olympic lure.
USA, baby.
You're named the MVP of the Olympic tournament. You were absolutely incredible that entire year, man. In the NHL, combined with what you did in the Olympics, like if you could just kind of like bottle up that year and just experience that euphoria, man, it's just incredible to experience that. What do you take?
It's a lot more boring. It's a lot more boring than you think, guys.
Oh, was it? Come on now.
No, I just mean like the actual doing of those things is it's a lot of couch time. It's a lot of preparing.
Like, what do you mean couch time? Like just chilling, like getting away from like playing video games? Because sometimes people play video games just to get away from reality.
No, not quite that far from reality. But I just mean like. It's not like oh my god, we won that game, that's so great, and then it's like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. It's very much okay, that happened, move forward. Okay, that happened, move forward. It was such a sustained mindset, and I planned it that way, knowing that it was Olympic year. Like even from my training protocol in the summer leading up and trying to peak at the right times and having that planned out and trying to find moments in the season to catch rest and then also train and peak at the right time again. Like just a lot of thought went into it and very satisfying in that we, were able to get pretty close to the ultimate goal in a few areas, but happy overall with the way it played out. You can't have everything in life, I guess. So it was another one of those things similar to Buffalo. Like we prepared well as a group, and we had a mindset going into that tournament, and we all kind of, fed off of each other, and it was a great 2-week experience.
Okay, so can you walk us through though the Crosby goal? Like what were you seeing at the time? Like, did he surprise you? I mean, that he went 5-hole there. Were you expecting him to shoot there? Like, and then can you close your eyes and take us through the play, and then remember like what it felt like to watch them celebrate? Like after, yeah. Come on, Andy. After it went in. Well, let him explain that. Go ahead.
I thought the way the puck came to him and the way we're basically on an exit, and the referee gets his foot in the way, and it turns the play, and so Crosby has more time than he thinks, and just the route he was taking is like, oh, he's gonna have time to go to the front of the net. So I was kind of getting into that position, but he never changed over, and he just makes a quick play. Smart play by him. He didn't look up, knew where he was, and then as he watching that back, his skates don't come to the center of the ice. So it's a mistake on my part. Like he didn't change his line. I just thought like, oh, he's got this puck. Our guys are high. He's cutting to the front of the net.
Yeah.
And that was my first thought. And then obviously it's wrong. So no time to recover, no time to do anything other than just,
I think your first game back, by the way, was in Pittsburgh, and you got a louder standing ovation than Crosby did. Like,
really?
Well, he's American, man. Team
Goddamn
USA,
right. USA,
best
baby.
player in the tournament. You got a louder ovation than Crosby, who scored the winning goal, man. Hey, I'm curious what the players were saying to you in the handshake line, like the Canadian. Does anything stand out in terms of what they said to you at the time?
I don't remember what any one of them said. Honestly, I don't remember one thing. It was just kind of like, it's like one of those movies where somebody, a bomb goes off nearby and there's like a tinnitus sound. Like, it's just like that. Like, I remember people saying things, but it's like, it's not registering.
Yeah. You're in a dream world,
man.
bad nightmare dream world where you just got to shake hands and nod to everybody.
Yeah. But I tried to shake it off. I told myself, we didn't get to do the opening ceremony to the Olympics. And I was kind of like, I know you watch the Olympics, you're like, okay, it seems just kind of like you're not on the ice cool, but like, okay, I can tell my kids and grandkids that, I got to do this. So I told myself, well, we're not making the opening. If we make it for closing ceremonies, it means that the tournament went really, really well and I shouldn't enjoy myself. So, I kind of sucked it up and I was actually, I was proud of what we accomplished. I went out there and was like, I'm proud of this. We had a really great tournament. We came together as a team, and the guys who chose to, it was a small group of us, went to the closing ceremonies, got all dressed up and walked it and participated in it because I don't know, it just meant that we had a good tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was trying to be happy about that. I do remember, of course, it's like insult to injury. It's like right after they scored, the Olympics is weird. You have to walk out through the media. Like you walk through like a maze and the media can stop kind of whoever they want. So it's like, you can't even like get yourself settled. You have to you're still in your equipment. You're like, something just happened. You have to walk through this maze. And then like they grabbed me at the end of it. Like, I don't even know what I said. And then they grabbed me and they're like, hey, you've been chosen to be randomly drug tested.
Oh God, that's a nightmare in my world, homeboy.
and yeah, but I just, you just played an overtime game. I don't think I had an insane number of shots, but it was somewhere near like probably, I don't know, like 40 something, like close to 40 shots. And, you're kind of gassed and you're dehydrated. And then they tell you got to go take a piss after you lost the gold medal game. I'm just like, really? Wow.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
So
did you do it or you said no?
Were you like, no?
No, I mean, you have to, or like, your team will get, penalty, like
disqualified. You won't get that silver.
Yeah. Like something might happen. So you're just kind of like, oh God, like,
Bad
okay,
news.
fine.
Yeah. Publicity.
Like how many beers is it going to take me to go take a piss right now?
Well, that's what you do. You just crush a bunch of water and you'll piss water and you'll make it. There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
Hey, trust
no,
me.
I know.
I know how to do this.
Yeah. If you crush water, they say the test doesn't work and you have to sit there longer. So like you have to drink something with something to it. So yeah, beers or Gatorades or something. And at that moment, it's just kind of like, okay. And another funny part is Noreen and I had, been dating and it was actually her birthday and she had come for the first part of the Olympics and then she went back to LA. And when we made the gold medal game, my parents, they didn't really say anything, but like, oh yeah, no. Like, I look at my phone and like, she's like, hey, I'm here. I'm like, I didn't know she was coming. So I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to be like another hour, like just hanging out down here.
Trying to piss.
Yeah, I scrambled out of there, went back, got changed, went to the closing ceremony. met up with my family, obviously, on the way over there. And, it was funny. It's like they were trying to, like, I was so late and I didn't know what happened. I didn't even know that they named me the MVP. Like, no one mentioned it. No one mentioned it in the media. And it's like, while I'm walking, trying to get dressed to go to the closing ceremony, I was our media guy that was talking to me. I have to remember this, but he's like, "Oh yeah, congrats on being named the MVP." I was like, "Okay."
Oh, cool. It must have been nice, like walking out and seeing her, and that probably put a smile on your face. You know what? Everything is pretty good in my life right now. Mm-hmm. Although I got silver, but I got her waiting for me. We're good.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
It stings, and it is kind of hard to look back on. We were so close. I think somebody mentioned, I didn't really see the play, but they thought maybe Stasny had shot one on a flat angle that kind of grazed the crossbar in overtime. Or I don't remember, honestly, but somebody mentioned that to me, and I was just kind of like, yeah, that's how it goes, man. Like,
will you watch the play? Because they show it all the damn time. They show the Crosby shootout goal on you, too, from the outdoor game at Ralph Wilson Stadium in the snow.
Oh, where he fanned on
goddamn
Crosby.
Yeah, goddamn Crosby. Always Crosby.
I know.
How'd you not make that save, by the way? Because he did fan on it, and it kind of just trickled through. Like, were you like, son of a bitch?
Well, it's just the way it works with me and Sid, I guess. I think he's going to do one thing, and he did another. It's just the fun. The fun part is, Sydney and I got to know each other over the years, and he came out. He hides out once in a while. He's come out to California to train. We train together, and there's a when I was retiring, playing some of those last games, there's some guys who reached out, mainly guys I played with, and a few guys I didn't play with, but Sid was one of them. And that was nice. He's a classy guy, and we've gone head to head, and he got the better of me. So, but if somebody's going to get the better, it might as well be Sid.
Well, exactly. And you got the louder standing ovation in his building.
You own him.
Throw that out there. Hey, one of the coolest things I've ever seen, by the way, your last game that you started for Anaheim against the Kings, the entire Kings team, they got in a line and came and shook your hand.
Lovely.
I was like, wow, I've never really even seen that before, Ryan.
I know.
That was kind of cool.
It was very cool. I got to do some things that not a lot of guys get to do when you wrap up your career, just because of the nature of the season. When we weren't, when Anaheim was eliminated from playoffs, it kind of left some things open to. I didn't want to say anything, but then talking to our goalie coach Sudsy and talking to Bob Murray, once we kind of got to that point where playoffs didn't seem like a real possibility, we started talking a little bit about what could happen, and they were encouraging me to announce it so that I could take it all in. And I knew I was going to retire. It was more just didn't know what to say about it. But they said, what, we should say something. You should acknowledge it, so you have time for your friends, family, and everybody to kind of be a part of it. And so I appreciate that from the Ducks. They made it really special, and appreciate that from the Kings. I spent a long time actually. I trained at the Toyota Center every summer. Got to know a lot of those guys. Quickie playing with him internationally and just kind of being around them. Great guy, but even being around known Kopitar for a long time. Our kids skate together now. His little boy Jakob's
how's he
a little younger than.
How's he doing? Is he winning face-offs?
He's gonna be his kid's gonna be. He'll be strong. He'll be an animal. But he's younger still. He's only just turned 5. So, but already, strong player. But just knowing those guys and being around and having them come over to give me a send off was pretty cool.
Wow,
that's cool, man.
Hey, you know what? And in all seriousness, that embrace you had with your parents. That was so emotional, man. Even going back and doing my world-class research, preparing for this interview, way more research than Cam did, by the way.
Well, I ain't no journalist, okay?
Hey, but watching you, just get emotional with your parents. Can you kind of like let us in like what that conversation was like and how overwhelmed you were with emotion and your parents and just everything you've been through, like playing hockey your entire life as a Miller in Lansing?
Yeah.
Legend.
No, I know. It's a long journey, and I know other people don't get the opportunity to say goodbye, and it still kind of hit me hard. Like, holy, that's it. So your parents are there for you in the beginning, hopefully, and we talked about having them come to California, but I was like, I knew the schedule, kind of laid it out ahead of time, and I knew I'd get that last game, and I was just like, I'd love for you to be in California so I could be with the whole family, but I also like somebody there for me at the last game, and just with COVID and the way things are playing out. There was even some uncertainty where the fan situation would be in the weeks leading up. So, but I talked to him and it looks like Minnesota's going to be open and it'll be the last game I play, and it'd be really nice if you were there. And not a lot was said. It was just kind of like good to have them there.
Yeah,
but you're in a good spot though, man. Like, right? Like,
all right.
at the end, like you got to look at like I'm going to miss the game, but fuck,
Weren't you supposed to be like an assistant coach for the Olympics here in Beijing before they were canceled?
In China? I don't know.
China. I was going to be the goalie coach. I was scouting for the whole first half of the season, working with that group, evaluating mainly the goaltenders, but trying to also take in, what it takes to evaluate at that level, and learning a lot from the coaching staff and the managing staff. But when they changed over, when the NHL said they weren't going to send players, my real experience is and my contribution to the club is, I know all the NHL guys. I know all the shooters. I know all the goalies. Like, I've lived it. I'm immersed in it, and I can speak to it. And I had the Olympic experience twice, and I had some other experience, leading up to Torino, like with the USA program and being an alternate and that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of experience in that regard. So I was like, okay, this can help out. But when everything kind of flipped around, I just didn't know some of those younger players well enough, or some of the guys who would, they would ultimately select, and didn't make sense for me to be in a pivotal position on the staff.
No.
You don't want to stay there for 5 weeks either after getting COVID.
Well, also, my wife is about a week away from giving birth. So at the time, she probably would have been hitting that, starting to get in that uncomfortable stage, and just needed to be here. It kind of outweighed that. So I kind of just bowed out, and we'll look for some other opportunities to do interesting things competitively in hockey down the road here.
All right, I've got two more things for you, and then we'll let you. You've been great, man. We appreciate that. I mean, I can't even get to everything on my list here. I wanted to talk about you sticking up for Troy Stetcher and all that, and going after
what
Matt.
happened with that?
It was his fourth game ever. And Matty Martin's just attacking him.
Well, that's what you got to do. I mean, the kid had not played a lot of hockey, and that's what Matt's kind of, he knows how to get under the skin about everybody on the ice, and he's trying to get an angle on the game. But yeah, I didn't think that was appropriate, and I could sense that Troy didn't know that all hell was going to rain down on him, so I just immediately kind of tried to get in there and make sure he didn't get hurt.
Didn't Frederick Anderson come down to the other end? And you guys were having a little conversation.
What would have bagged his ass
up? What was he saying?
He was probably saying, we had fun at Lucas Fuse's wedding, and don't worry about it, bud, and that kind of stuff.
It's I'm going to grab onto you, and we're just going to stand here.
Okay, here's my last two things. We'll start with this one. So, was it tough for you to walk away that close to 400 wins? Do you think about the Hockey Hall of Fame? Because I'm hearing some of these conversations, you're certainly a guy that's going to, create a lot of discussion in regards to the Hockey Hall of Fame. You're a shoo-in for the USA Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, USA.
And
baby.
Probably for the IIHF Hockey Hall of Fame. You probably entered into the Michigan State Hall of Fame at 10 years old.
You think,
they just knew already. Your son's already in it too. But the Hockey Hall of Fame, do you think about it, and was it difficult to walk away so close to 400?
Yeah, but that path was kind of wobbly after Vancouver. We had some tough seasons there, and it seemed like something that was on my radar. But as it transitioned into a backup, I kind of told myself, like, let's just see how this kind of goes. The mindset's different, and just the way things were kind of playing out, I just kind of knew I was done. I'd done what I could do, and I think that I don't know how many guys really play thinking like, oh, if I only do this, then I can get to a certain level. And the Hall of Fame is certainly not something like. It'd be amazing, but it's just not something that you have any control over. It's very much other people's opinions on how you played in your career. And I have to take the mindset that I did the best I could do, and I'm proud of what I could do with it. And then after that, it's kind of just up for discussion. And that's I have my own opinions, but they're not surrounding should I be in the Hall of Fame. It's just like I played hockey a certain way. I love my time with my buddies on the ice, and that's really all I can do. Like the conversation surrounding that kind of stuff, I feel is more for the people who are observing.
Well, they listen to this podcast.
You're gonna get in now.
We give people jobs. We get them in the fucking Hall of Fame. So you're getting in.
Yeah,
homeboy.
you're getting in now.
Thank God I took you guys up on it.
Oh, I know. You were busy the last couple of days too. We were like on the edge of our seats. We didn't know, but you got a lot going on there. Your wife is like 9 months pregnant, so we appreciate all the time you're giving us.
Man, seriously.
All right, listen, Kay Whitmore, you're working with him with the league, right? In terms of NHL goaltender equipment. Like, what's your take on where goalie equipment is now, like versus where it was when you first came in? Because you were always kind of like that equipment guy, right? You were very tuned in to your equipment as a goalie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then I worked with the competition committee for about 3 years. Don't quote me on the dates. I can't remember when that actually happened specifically. But then Kay and I actually worked together on proportional equipment when we started tailoring the pad size, the pants, and everything trended towards, fitting your body type. So we worked on that language and that concept, and I'm not sure that anything's like imminent right now or like anything's going to change. I think goal equipment has gotten to a much better place, but I think that anytime you have a rule that sits as long as this rule has now, it's probably close to 10 years on like the pad rule. Guys are going to figure out some ways around it. So you're starting to see some different trends, and it's something you definitely look into. You're trying to maintain a certain spirit of the game, and I think that's something we're open to. I'm honestly just consulting with the league, so I can't really speak like anything officially. So it's more like we're looking at some stuff surrounding goaltending, like the way the rules are interpreted. Goal interference is a big hot topic, and how you determine plays surrounding the crease and stuff like that. So it's just having somebody who played recently available, and I'm hoping that once we get our baby kind of used to the world and playoff time kind of rolls around, maybe I can help out. Playoff time, be available, see some stuff, and working with Colin Campbell's office in hockey operations, it's more like rule interpretation and gameplay stuff. So. Okay. It's been fun to kind of be on that side of it and learn and observe and contribute where I can. It's been mainly surrounding goalie stuff or concepts around goalie stuff.
Well, you're very smart.
Yeah, they need your knowledge.
I don't know if you want to be a GM down the road, what you want to do, man.
Or just kick your feet up in California.
Let me say this, though, Ryan. You're going to have lots of options, man. You're going to be able to do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yep.
So just always know that. You got your family. We're going to plan a game. We're going to bring you here to St. Louis. We got a great practice rink here and a great facility. My son's team's going to play against your son's team. We're going to make that happen. And we'll get Otter involved and everybody else. And
Maverick's gonna be running around hitting guys from behind.
Oh my God, keep the elbows down, Maverick.
Maverick, settle down. I love it.
So
Yeah, I'm sure Otter's been teaching that kid some.
Oh yeah,
some
He's
tricks.
got the look. He's
yeah.
got the Otter look in him, and it's scary.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
He's got the same eyes.
he does.
Oh, he does. He does.
Yeah.
Is your son going to be a goalie?
Right now he's been exploring the concept. Yeah, at their age they rotate, and we kind of stress that he needs to skate as much as possible. Play the game.
Yeah.
He has been asking to play a little bit more than the other kids, and he has kind of made some statements about wanting to try it. But I'm kind of holding strong to my dad's comments to me. Is like, you need to skate more. You got to play forward, until you're at least like about 8 or 9 years old is what I kind of got pushed towards. We'll see if he has the same reaction I did. I ultimately had like a sit down strike, and I told my dad, like, I'm not going on the ice again in the middle of a game until you tell me I can try goalie. So
a sit down.
So yeah, I had a little sit down strike, and my dad coupled it with, okay, go get 2 more assists and score me 3 goals and you can try. And so I went out and did it.
That's what you do right there.
See, I don't feel so bad. I tell my kid that, or he's going to have to walk home. Like, you got to score some goals.
Yeah.
You got to
Ty
walk.
ain't doing nothing. That kid's going to be a whale one way or the other.
So, hey, listen, man, and then they're going to retire your jersey, everything in Buffalo. Yeah, you have so many things to look forward to.
You got a lot of stuff going on, dude.
All the best to you, man. I really appreciate you coming on with us, man. We're happy that we were able to nail this down.
Enjoy yourself, dude. You had a great career, man. Appreciate you coming on, right?
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun talking to you guys, and all the best.
Oh, we're chilling.
Yeah,
no,
and the Blues might retire your number too. Yeah,
I already did.
Didn't the Blues give you a tribute video when you came back? I think they did.
Oh, that's funny, man.
They did. They gave you a tribute video, and then David Backus, he like stole the show. That was like his last game of his career.
Oh, Backus is like, no, Ryan, I'm here. We like Back. He's a good guy, dude.
So that's awesome. Man.
I loved it. David's down here now. He's hanging in Orange County.
Oh, we know. He's a fancy lad.
I know. He's getting into media too.
Yeah,
so anyway.
Oh yeah.
Right. Hey, thanks for coming on, big boy.
Yeah.
Go enjoy yourself, buddy.
The Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by Bellman and Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get out there to Detroit, Missouri. Check it out. On one side, you got the Buick, the GMC. Options for everybody. Then right across the street, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Again, find something that works for you and get yourself a new set of wheels in time for the winter. All right, baby, that was Ryan Miller. Great goaltender, great guy, very smart, Cam, very intelligent. He thinks the game very well. Sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating, I think, when you're trying to approach him and talk to him and stuff like that, because he is so calculated. And he was very locked in as a goaltender. I mean, very locked in. Mentally, he was ready to go,
Yeah, you have to be. No, he is very, like, you can tell he's just like, everything that comes out of his mouth is well thought out. And he's probably is somebody going to hire him for?
Oh, somebody will hire him.
Right?
He'll be able to do whatever the hell he wants, man.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you. Like, I'll never forget the embrace that he had with his family. Remember after his last game of his NHL career, he went and hugged his parents in the stands. They were both wearing Miller jerseys. Anaheim Ducks jerseys, and they were like emotional. He became overwhelmed with emotion. He's hugging his parents in the stands afterwards, man. Like, what's it like to know that it's over and that everything you've been doing your entire life is coming to an end?
Everything's emotional. Shit, my wife, if I scored a goal, she would literally cry. Like,
it only happened a few times.
It happened 6 times. That's a lot. Sometimes she goes back and watches it on YouTube and she cries. Like, really? It's emotional. My mom and dad, if I'm squaring off McGrath, and they're like, "Oh my God, oh God, what's happening?" And then you get down like, "Oh God," and like it was like I probably aged them, like all that shit. You get run over by Lucic, like everything. They follow every second of everything in your life. Their whole life is revolved around like you, and like it's not just about you; it's about everybody involved. And man, I'm telling you, dude, like it's an emotional thing. It truly is. Everything.
People are going to be bringing up his name in terms of the Hall of Fame. And listen, a lot of the guys that like put way more like effort and work into these conversations than you and I do say that he's better than like the Hall of Very Good, but maybe not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there was like a stretch where he was certainly, he won the Vezina trophy, so obviously he was the best goalie in the game for that season. He was really good, man.
Yeah.
What he did in the Olympics, I'll never forget that 2010 year, man. His performance was incredible. To lose the gold medal game and still be named the MVP of the actual tournament.
It says something.
Something to be said for that.
No, absolutely. He was great, man. And he was very, very popular. I wish things would have worked out in St. Louis, because I thought at the time, and even people in St. Louis at the time, when Doug Armstrong made that trade, you got Otter and him, and you're like, okay, that's exactly what we need. We're ready to go. And I wasn't really paying attention at the time, but I knew the vibe in St. Louis, and it just didn't work out. But he's had a hell of a career.
He's married to a movie star.
Yeah, he is. We asked him about
An
that.
actress.
Sorry with all the questions. I got questions about that shit, man.
I'm surprised she didn't come on with us. Usually when we have talked to people who've got like famous wives,
I don't think he was going to let that happen.
They jump on the air with us.
I would ask the questions too. Like, yeah, I mean, we did ask. I am curious on how people meet. It's interesting, and I think a lot of people are like that too. There's a lot of hockey talk, but it's like, how'd you meet that? Like, how'd you do that?
Well, because he was single at 28. He talked about, hey, in the Midwest, people are like, dude, what's up? You ever going to get married or whatever?
Yeah, like, what's going on?
Did you ever feel pressure to get married? You may have, because you were with your girl for a long time.
Oh, my God, yeah. I get pressured to have kids. Everybody wants me to reproduce, and I'm like, you sure about that?
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I don't know if I can.
What do your parents say about that? They want you to reproduce?
They're fine. They live a good life. They chill with the doggies, and they listen to me all day long. You know, I had to go over there today, and I'm like, "Here, you want to watch a chiclet thing? Like, I can put it on YouTube." And they just, here you go, you know. And they made me lunch. Like
their life still revolves around you.
I don't think that if I had a child,
can you stop that? You're not a little kid anymore, Cam. Like they need to live their own life. Okay,
dude. They love everything, man. And they don't live a life. They don't leave. Dude, people come up to me. They have their 50th, like a high school thing, you know? Mm-hmm. And everybody gets a hold of me, you know, and from Brentwood High School in Missouri. Like, can Denny and Amy come to this? I go, okay, stop. They haven't left the house in 20 years.
They won't go. They won't go.
No. They just chill. They walk
the dog. They went to high school together?
Yeah. My dad was a quarterback. My mom was
okay. Okay. I'm not dealing
just
with
like
this
Kate
right
and I
now.
kind of thing.
Wait a minute. So they were high school sweethearts? Did they date in high school?
Yeah.
That's a long time to be together, dude.
It worked out. They dated and they stopped for 7 years. And my mom,
because that's what you have to do.
And then my
life, life requires you, Cam. You got to like explore a little.
Oh, really,
bit.
Andy? Like, tell me about that. Tell me how to explore
a little bit. I being with the same person from like as a teenager, and then
I wasn't
grow old with that person. That's a different level of commitment.
I knew who Kate was, but then I did my own thing, and then when I wanted to settle down, I'm like, okay. And then I kept seeing her around. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew her background. I knew she's a pure soul, you know. You know, and she just looked great, and I'm like, okay. And then I had to like tweak some things. Don't get me wrong, like kind of like a 180 kind of thing. You know?
I feel like you were not dating Kate when you got traded to St. Louis.
Hell no. I started dating Kate at like 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, so she didn't experience all your goals, right? In the NHL.
No, not at all. No, but she knew what's going on, man. Like I was
trying to put
here.
The timeline together.
Andy, everybody from my high school knew what was going on. Like they're going to games and stuff. Like she was, Travis was taking Travis and her, my buddy Travis would take her to the games and go to the wives' lounge, and then like we'd hang out.
Why was Travis dating her?
No, she had.
Your other buddy was.
I just had him take, just like he would bring people from Eureka.
Yeah,
and I'm like, bring all the girls, just kind of like I was just showing off, man.
Yes. Okay, nothing wrong with that, dude.
Yeah.
And you guys are perfect for each other. I love Kate. I'm actually Kate's biggest fan.
She likes you.
Yes, I have to talk to Kate sometimes because
she wants you to be. She's like she wants you to come on the radio show. She's like, hey, so she likes you a lot.
Well,
she knows you work your ass off.
And I got some text messages and people actually really enjoyed it. They're like, why aren't you doing that more often? I'm like, well, I can, but Cam's on a little early in the morning right now.
Yeah, no, I know. And it's just, we'll get you. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you do enough shit, Andy. Who cares?
That's right. Oh,
we'll call in.
Exactly. All right. Cam Strick Podcast, including this episode, number 179, dude. We're almost on to 180. We've got some good ones coming up. Stick with us here on the Cam Strick Podcast. We've got some great episodes on the way. I can promise you that. As always, the Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by Hair Club, hairclub.com. Get to that landing page. Do it today. Schedule your first consultation right from there. You're going to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I can promise you that. Hairclub.com/Cam and Strick. Hair Club is our title sponsor. We love our friends over there at Hair Club and everything they do to support us right here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Over 1,200 locations throughout North America. So wherever you are right now, man, you are close to a Hair Club location. Of course, our friends over there at Car Shield, 800-857-2481. Mention that promo code CAM, baby. You're going to save 10%. Again, 800-857-2481. Pick the location where you have your car serviced. If anything goes down, you got the peace of mind knowing that you've got that protection. Again, 800-857-2481. Loosey Goosey. Cam's all about the Loosey Goosey, man. He's chewing that gum, that cinnamon. We got all different flavors.
I want my breath, boy. It smells good afterwards. Sometimes you need that, and it craves a killing.
Get yourself one of those beautiful packs. And they come in a beautiful box and everything. So get that today right there over there with Lucy.co. Lucy.co, the lozenges, the gum, the pouches. They've got something for everybody. Lucy.co. Of course, the Better Business Bureau, Cam. BBB.org, man. Be informed.
Man, sometimes you take your girl and go do something, and you got to know where the hell you're going, what it's all about. Look at the reviews. Like, you just got to do that. You're going to spend the money. You want to ruin a vacation? Might ruin you in your relationship sometimes. Make it right.
Make it right. That is exactly right. Join the ranks of other trustworthy businesses if you're a business owner as well. Call the BBB, 314-645-3300, or go to bbb.org. Again, 215 million consumer inquiries on the BBB business profiles just back in 2020 alone. So millions of people are doing this every single day on the Better Business Bureau website. Bellman.com, the best car dealership in the entire Midwest. I can promise you that. Right out there in Troy, Missouri. One side of the street, Cam, you got the Buick, the GMC. I'm looking at that GMC. On the other side, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Cam's looking at the pink Jeep, 2 doors with small wheels. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to judge you about that, but that's what they have out there.
No one's even going to chirp me about it.
Get out there and get the best car for you in perfect time for the spring and the summer. Drive in style and trade your car in. They're going to pay you above Kelley Blue Book. I can promise you that. Do it today. Our friends over there at Bellman Automotive, where the customer service is what?
Ain't no swinging dicks, okay? I'm telling you.
Yes,
God,
you are.
that's painful to watch.
All right, this has been Ryan Miller, episode number 179. Go to our website, camandstrick.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything. Put a little rating in there. Give us that 5-star. Drop us a comment. You can always hit Cam and I up as well on our social media, our individual social media.
I keep my DMs open, baby.
Yeah, I'll try to get back to you. I'm available on Cameo too, by the way. My Cameo deals are on sale right now. Cam's getting a little too pricey on Cameo.
Mine are. No, I'm keeping mine at my. It is what it is.
Cam's
my DMs are open though.
Yeah, so hit me up on my DMs are open and hit me up on Cameo as well, and send me a message on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and we'll get right back to you, man. We appreciate that as always.
We will.
So anybody who wants to jump on board, be a business partner, we'd love to take your business to the next level, man. Feel free to hit us up regarding that as well. But again, go to the podcast app and subscribe on YouTube and give us that 5-star rating and drop a comment, man. Let us know what you think of how we're doing right here on the Cam and Strick podcast. So for Cam Jansen, for Brody, for everybody, this is I'm Andy Strickland. This has been the Cam and Strick podcast.
Yeah.